O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. train, fight, recover.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Good morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are feeling well. Hope you had a great weekend out there, and hope our friends in Broward are recovering after a brutal week here last couple of days, man. It's sad. You know what I mean? It hurts to watch a lot of our South Floridians lose their homes and a lot of their stuff get ruined, and neighborhoods that are completely flooded and things like that. So obviously, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Doesn't really help much. I know, because what you need is, you know, money and help and, you know, protection. And by the way, call Welton Rayom, please, because those insurance companies aren't going to take care of you. But yeah, outside of that, I hope the rest of you have had a good week. Outside of our friends in Broward, in Eastern Broward County specifically, that, man, those folks have gone through hell now. So anyway, a lot of things to talk about today. We got a bunch of stuff. We got the Heat with a nice surprise win in the playoffs last night. I mean, there were, you know, circumstances that helped it, but we'll take it, right? It doesn't really matter. Hell of a performance again by Jimmy Butler. We've got the Panthers tonight going to start the playoffs against the Bruins. We'll see if they can. We'll see if a key player or two of the Bruins. Not that I'm wishing anybody gets injured, but you know what I mean. The Heat got the break. You know, the Panthers are going to need a couple breaks here against the Bruins. Marlins, by the way, take 2 of 3 from the D-backs. They've won their last 2 series, so they're 8-8. Enjoy while it lasts. So, and we got some stuff going on NBA-wise, Dolphins, all kinds of stuff. Got a couple music notes that I thought were kind of interesting. And, of course, loaded with some great guests, as always. Ira Winderman will stop by at 10:30, and he was at the game yesterday against the Bucks. Alan Poupart will join us at 11:30, and at noon, Marcel Louis Jacques. Andy Behrens normally joins us at noon. We moved up Marcel to noon. Marcel will normally be 12:30, but we moved him up to noon. Andy will join us on Wednesday, so we'll have some fun with Andy on Wednesday. So a lot of things there going on. What else? And brothers and sisters, I am dealing with some serious soreness today. Well, actually, the last 2 days. Whew. See, one of my failures as a human being, an absolute failure, is that I don't exercise. Okay, and and whenever I exercise, my body and everything else is a lot better. But since I am so undisciplined and terrible, that's why I've gotten overweight. That's why I'm fat as hell. And so I'm trying to start to exercise. You know, and so we're gonna go walking this afternoon and all that. But it'll be tough to walk today because I gotta tell you, man, I went bowling on Saturday over at Bird Bowl here by my house. I love Bird Bowl. Been going to Bird Bowl since I was a kid. But anyway, so I hadn't gone bowling in several years. Pre-pandemic, actually. It must have been, I mean, several years. Probably easily 6-7 years. Has to be. It's been a while since I've gone bowling. I don't even remember the last time I went bowling. Put it that way. So we went bowling on Saturday, went with the wife and the daughter, had some fun. Place was packed, by the way. Bird Bowl was, Jesus, it was jam-packed. And did all right, by the way. For those of you that you're going to ask, whatever, I average about around 150, okay? Considering that I hadn't gone, because I'm a guy that normally averages somewhere in the 170 to 190 range. That's usually where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you I'm Mr. I've done 200s. I think my record is like 245 or something like that. You know, when I used to go bowling a lot, and I have my own ball and my own shoes. And so we were bowling and all that good stuff. And I played 3 games. My thighs and my hamstrings. Holy shit. I can't move, man. I can't move. Like it's and I have a 2-floor house, so going up the stairs, holy crap, that was, man, I'm feeling it. So I didn't do any exercise yesterday because I was just so sore that I could barely move. Today I'm going to go walking, and so I gotta stretch it out. But man, the worst thing is to get out of shape. It just sucks getting out of shape, because then when you got to get back into shape, it's not an easy thing. And so that's my job now, is to get back into shape again. So I'm trying, but yeah, crazy stuff, man. You get out of shape, and you know, bowling, you're stretching your legs all over the place, and you just don't realize that you're just having fun and all that. Although I will tell you that by the time I got to the 3rd game, I was already winded. I was sweating buckets. I mean, I was sweating like a whore in church. I mean, it was just coming down, bro. And I got to take a hat next time because my hair was all wild and everything. Obviously, with the long hair. It was a sight to see on Saturday at Bird Bowl. But I did well. I thought, you know, right around the 150 average. I did, I think it was 159, 154, and 144. So right around 150, right around there. So, yeah, that was good. I love bowling. Love bowling. You know, for a short time at QAM, I had a sponsor. There was a bowling alley out in like Tamarack or something like that. I forgot. I think it was the Don Carter's North or whatever out there. I think it was it a Don Carter's or was it another? I forgot the name of the bowling alley. But we used to have like a you know, like listeners would come every, whatever it was, a Tuesday night or a Wednesday or Thursday night or whatever, and we'd all meet and have some fun and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to do that again. That would be actually cool. We're a whole bunch of listeners and we'd all meet, you know, one night a week to have some fun and giveaways and things like that. That'd be actually really, really cool. I'd like to do that. That would be a lot of fun. So anyway, so that's my weekend. Had a nice weekend outside of my sore hamstrings and my thighs, especially my thighs. Holy shit, my thighs are like stiff, brother. Like, man, they are stretched to hell right now. I'm feeling it. I see Jamie Zorria. Well, wait a minute. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yes, it is. Jamie Zorria first in San Jose. Brian Walters is in. Steve Chapman congratulating the Heat. Alejandro Moliner. And Greater Good. True Finn fan. Great win yesterday for the Heat. Team is unpredictable. Well, it helps that Giannis was out. Kyle Cockrell. Too Extreme. GP Trap. Alexis. Giovanni. The Jekyll and Heat showed up. Gus 1388. Lisa Rose to Extreme. The Heat really pulled out the finger, shut me up big time. I didn't think they had it in them to win these last two games. That's what I got for doubting Spo. Well, remember, the Giannis thing helps, but, Spo's a badass, bro. Never doubt Spo. Omar Lopez in. Les Jam is in. Jonathan Cagle. Greater Good. Jason Myers. Terry Lynch. Lázaro Barrios. Danielle Larcy. How serious do you think Hero's injury is? Let's get into a little basketball talk. And True Fin Fan, thank you for the love on the super chat there. Why would we bring Clown Anderson to this locker room? I'll get to that eventually. Give me some time here. I'll get to Robbie Anderson. I have a very interesting point on why he's here. Okay, couple of them, and I'll let you in on it. Just let me get to the more important stuff than the head case. The Heat last night, terrific job over the Bucks, 130 to 117. Hero goes out with a broken hand, and the funny part was when he was injured, they throw him the ball and he makes that three. That was actually pretty good on his part. Look, man, Tyler looks like a good kid overall. This is not a good signing by the Miami Heat. Let's just call it like we see it. Okay? Tyler Hero, what happened to him yesterday? Well, how about this? Let's talk a little Tyler Hero now. 55, 54, 66, and 67. Do you know what those numbers are? Anybody? Bueller? 55 games his first year in the league. 54 games his second year in the league. 66 games his third year in the league, and 67 games his fourth year in the league. Injury prone. This kid's not a durable player. Never been a durable player in 4 straight years. And here's the playoffs, and now you got a broken hand. And now you're out for the rest of the playoffs. Can he shoot? Yes. Is he a great defender? Never will be. Is he a great two-way player? Never will be. Is he worth the money they're paying him? No, he's not. Part of the reason why the Miami Heat are the 7th or 8th or in the play-in or all this bullshit that they've gone through is because Jimmy Butler can't play an entire season. It's because Tyler Hero can't play an entire season. It's because Bam Adebayo is being paid to be a franchise player and isn't. And so there's a lot of things going on where the Heat have, unfortunately, in the front office, mismanaged all of this. And these are part of the issues. It's like, we'll have Ira on in a few minutes, and he can tell me, and everybody can tell me, oh, Jimmy Butler's a badass. I know he is. But part of the reason why you're in the bottom ringer of the playoffs is because he can't play an entire season. Because if he plays the 20 games he missed, how many of those games do you think he wins? Do you think they end up in the 7th or 8th spot, or do you think maybe they end up in the 4th, 5th, or 6th spot if Jimmy can play most an entire season? Or maybe if Tyler also could play an entire season too. And I'm not saying 82, but I'm saying 78, 77. But you can't do that. So you're paying these guys max money. They can't play a max season. You're paying Bam max money. He's not really a max player. He picked it up yesterday in the second half, but in the first half, he went small. He kept missing shots left and right, and he can't even extend his offense because he can't even shoot the three. So the problem is Miami continues to settle. They used to demand, right? They demanded like excellence. They demanded great players. Now they settle for broken down Kyle Lowry, who's overpaid. Jimmy Butler, who's overpaid, unfortunately, because he can't play an entire season. I know he's fantastic. He was fantastic. He was beautiful yesterday. He was awesome, like he always is in clutch moments. But unfortunately, because you didn't get another star, Jimmy has to play more. And that way you can avoid being in playing games and bullshit like that. And then you got a Tyler Hero who you had to give him a max contract, but he's not a max contract guy. He can't play a whole season either. So you're paying max money to all these wrong people. And that's your problem. It was fun yesterday. It was great. I'm glad they won. Don't get me wrong. But let's not hide away from the real issues of the Miami Heat. Okay? And they got the break of a lifetime here with Giannis out. I don't know if this will keep him out another game or two or whatever. You know that tough sumbitch is going to try to come back. Probably shoot up that back, for Wednesday or Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Who knows? But what you saw from Tyler Hero yesterday is what Tyler Hero is. An injury-prone player who cannot be relied on to be on the floor all the time. Cannot be relied on to play defense. Hell, sometimes can't be relied on to be consistent offensively. So it sucks to watch him go out, but I tell you, 55, 54, 66, and 67. And he hasn't been in the league for 12 years or 14 years or whatever the hell it is that Jimmy Butler's been in with all the mileage on his body. And you know what? With the mileage on his body and Tom Thibodeau's practices, I understand that Jimmy Butler has to miss games. I get that his body is, worn down compared to Tyler Hero. But Tyler Hero is a spry young man, and he can't stay healthy. That's a problem. And it's a problem for the Heat because they're paying him. You got to stop settling, Miami Heat. Pat Riley, you got to stop settling, my man. You got to stop settling. Stay liquid. Stay with one-year players. Keep it rolling. Don't tie yourself down anymore to the Kyle Lowrys of the world. Duncan Robinson doesn't have to be paid. It's just there's too many bad contracts. That's the problem. Fun win yesterday and all that, but I'm not kidding myself. I know what happened yesterday. Giannis went out, and that's it. And that changed the complexion of the entire game. Middleton always has a good game against Miami, so I wasn't surprised he played well. I'm just glad this kid who had, 16 assists, what's his name? Holiday. Offensively, he didn't go off. Thank the Lord. But yeah, it's just they got a break of the lifetime with Giannis out. That changed everything, and now you got a chance. If he's out, you got a chance in this series. There's no doubt about it. All of a sudden now, without Giannis, it changes the complexion of the entire game. Because see, with Tyler, it's only shooting you're missing. Well, some ball handling. You are missing some ball handling. But the shooting you can replace with some other guys if they actually look. Kevin Love yesterday. Finally, this is why you traded for him. You were hoping for more games like this. You didn't get any during the season. But hey, if he's going to show up yesterday, all right, we'll take it. We'll take it. But it was fun. But let's not kid ourselves what we saw from Tyler Hero yesterday. It's sad, it sucks, and all that, but this is who Tyler Hero is. The guy that gets injured often. Okay? KSDTCPA, say, man, it's tax time. Let's go. Use that QR code right now. Personal taxes, your business taxes, reach out to them. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. They'll take care of you wherever you are. You don't have to be there in the office. You can do it all by phone nowadays. So you can reach out to them, support the great people that support us. They're a top 200 tax firm in the country. So they can help you and your business grow in many different ways, not just by doing your taxes. They can help you in payroll, healthcare. They can help you in so many different ways so you can plan ahead. And they know what's going on in the financial environment so they can help you and your business plan. So check it out. Call the great people at KSDT CPAs, great sponsors of our platform. So support the people that support us. Use the QR code and reach out to them. They're opening up an office in North Carolina coming up too. So KSDT CPAs, they just continue to grow offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Call them 305-670-3370. They'll get you that extension, all of that. So call KSDT CPA if you're not ready yet to file your taxes. All right. Bird Bowl is still amazing after so many years. I hope that, well, you know what, Frankie? There's so little bowling alleys. Actually, Bird Bowl is like a well-run business. It has to be, because think about it. It was around when bowling became more prominent and we had Don Carter's lanes all over the place. And there were, dude, I grew up that I used to go, my dad, rest in peace, to the airport bowling lanes all the time over on 37th Avenue, right by the airport. And we used to go to Hialeah lanes right next to Casanovas all the time, right? And I'm sure all of you that live anywhere in South Florida, you can name bowling alleys that used to be there and they're no longer there. The Don Carters were, but we're in West Kendall, where I live, off 137th and Kendall Drive. That was an institution. Dude, we used to go there on weekends. That was like a thing to hang out at the bowling alley and all that stuff. Whether you were bowling or you were just playing video games and eating and hanging out with other kids and stuff like that, that was a thing back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So Bird Bowl was there for us then in those days. I was going to Bird Bowl. And think about it. All those bowling alleys are gone. And Bird Bowl is still here. You know what I'm saying? You know how many parties were going on Saturday when I was there? Place is jam-packed. And they got this giant arcade and all that stuff. Bird Bowl is still fantastic. It's still a great place to go and enjoy and go with the family. It was good. I hadn't used my spider bowling ball in a while, so it was good. I got a strike right on my first one. First throw was a strike. There was only one problem. Okay, I got up there and I threw the ball, and it was on lane 42. We had lane 41 reserved. My daughter looks at me and goes, "That was great, Dad, but we're on this lane," because there was nobody on lane 42. So then I had to go to tell the Bird Bowl people, "Hey, can you retrieve my ball? Because like I got the strike, right? But it didn't return the ball. It didn't reset or anything like that. I was hitting the reset button to see if the ball would come back, and nothing. Because of course they don't want it active, because then somebody can walk up and start just playing for free. So I had to go get and retrieve my ball so I can then start the game. So I lost out on that strike. Kind of shit is that, right? Huh? That's just not fair, dude. I had it going on right there. It was wrong. I got to tell you. Let's see. Came to talk Heat, not listening to this. Goodbye. Okay. All right. Now it's a permanent goodbye. Let's see. Hunter Butler says, "Oh, it was my birthday over the weekend. Took a trip to Guinea Springs. Water was ice cold." Okay, I'm not sure what Guinea Springs water is. But well, we're fresh off of winter, bro. We're not into June and July and August. You know what I'm saying? My wife was asking me, so if I go to the beach, do you think the water will be cold? I go, yeah, you're gonna freeze your ass off. It's not gonna warm up until like late June, July, August. That's really when the water starts to warm up here in South Florida. So I'm not sure where you went, but happy late birthday to you, Hunter Butler. Okay. Stretch those glutes. Oh, boy, I got to stretch everything. Okay. All right. I'm actually looking forward to walking today. Seriously. I am looking forward to walking big time today because what Saturday was like a wake-up call, like, hey, asshole, like you need to take care of yourself. Like you're completely going to waste. And so that kind of inspired me how screwed up I am. So, that's bad. Hero's out 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, you know what, Brad, sir, he'll be back for the finals. So that's all right. You know, the Heat will be ready for the finals, and Hero can join him for a game or two and then get, hurt again. So it's not a problem. At least he'll play 1 or 2 games maybe in the finals. But the Heat will win the title without him anyway, so it's all good. Mr. Bonafide says, I got to ask, who's the genius who decided to start a playoff game at 9:30 and 11:30 Eastern time? TV. They don't care. They don't care, bro. They're accommodating the people on the West. They don't care about the East Coast. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of the way it goes. They're not really worried about the East Coast or anything like that. I think that in the end, there aren't going to be enough people in the East watching, and they know it. So it doesn't matter. So they'll get as many people in the West to watch, and it'll be their time and all that. So it is what it is. But that's been like that forever. I say trade Hero, Duncan, Jovic, and some draft picks for Lillard. And that gets you nothing, by the way. Dame Lillard here will be fun, but you're not winning any titles or anything because you're eliminating more side pieces. You don't really have a good complementary group around the stars. And now you're adding a guy that's at the back end of his career. And I know he had a great year, but bro, his bottom's about to fall off. You're going to trade for another old player. And what are you going to do? Tie down to 3-4 years of that now? That's not winning you a title. They need to reset with picks and everything and go for younger players, man. I'm sorry. The Dame Lillard thing would be fun, but let's be honest, you're not winning anything. Okay. The Heat have no other options than to save another gear for the playoffs. Let's see. Big O Miami is the place that the Lakers were in a few years back. It's I think it's completely different when you've got LeBron. Damn, I was hoping we would be enjoying a win today. Yeah. It's fun, but I mean, you gotta live in reality, brother. You know what I'm saying? The good thing is they got the break of a lifetime with Giannis. And hopefully they can take advantage of that. It's a trade for Bradley Beal or reset the entire. Bradley Beal won't win you anything either. It's nice, but you'll give up so much that there won't be a lot left anyways. But it'll be nice. But see, the thing about that hopium bullshit that goes on, right? And we'll talk to Ira. He'll spew some of that hopium bullshit on you. They don't have enough to make that trade anyways. Everybody else is going to have better options or better deals on the table than Miami. Miami doesn't have a lot of poker chips left, dude. They've put themselves in a really difficult position. They don't have sexy players that people want, and they don't have enough picks. And there'll be more teams with more picks and sexier players on their roster that they'll be able to offer. Miami's put themselves in a really difficult position. So the Dame Lillard and the Bradley Beal bullshit that you guys are going to start in the offseason, it sounds nice, even though if for some miracle you're able to come up with a package, it's still not going to be good enough to win a title, okay? It'll be entertaining, but it won't be a title. You're still not better than the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? So last night was awesome because you got a break of a lifetime with Giannis. Now let's see if they can continue to take advantage of that part. We'll see. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, my God, this is great. They're going to make a run. They got a break in this series is what they got. And they took advantage last night, which was really, really cool. Now we'll see how serious this Giannis injury is and how long he's going to be out. That's really the determining factor. Although you know that he's going to shoot that thing up and probably do his best to go out there and try to play in game 2. I'm sure he's going to be getting treatment for 48 straight hours. All right, let's talk a little basketball with Mr. Hopium himself, Ira Winderman, and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is. The dealer himself, spreading the hopium.
Why not?
Can I have some, Ira? Can I have
Why
some?
not?
All right. All right. No, that was good last night. That was a hell of a performance by Jimmy Butler. Hell of a performance. Strus came in clutch yesterday. You know who's been really nice over the last couple of regular season games and last night? Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent's actually been shooting well lately.
Yeah, I mean, he and McKevin Love were the key to that unbelievable 60% three-point shooting. And you know what? Put aside the injuries to Tyler and Giannis for a second. We'll get those in a moment. This series, if the Heat had any chance of spreading what I like to call optimism, it came down to the Heat were going to have to make all their threes and the Bucks were going to have to miss all their threes. Game 1, mission accomplished. Now, if you can shoot 60% on threes and they're under 30% on threes, yeah, you have a chance. The ability to sustain that from the 4th worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, the Heat this season, that's what we have to wait and see. Again, if you could have predicted, except for Tyler, things that had to go for the Heat to win the series opener, Giannis hurt, Bucks missed their shot, Heats make their shot, Jimmy Butler in 2020 NBA Finals form, you got box check 1, 2, 3, 4. The odds of those boxes being checked again, Orlando, I mean, same as the odds coming into this series of the Bucks being a 92% favorite to win. All eyes on Giannis now. That does change this series because all of a sudden, you won't have the best roster still, but you could have the best player in the series if Giannis is out and Jimmy is playing like that.
Yeah, and listen, yesterday you got from Love the kind of game that you were kind of hoping to get more of when you traded for him.
Oh, absolutely.
So, right. Yesterday was like he had not played like that since you acquired him. So he picked the right moment. And it was kind of a perfect storm thing. And that's where it kind of gets, a little bit crazy for all of us as Heat fans. Can you maintain this? And it's unrealistic to think that when that's not what you were for 82 games.
No, I mean, it's everything coming up to that point says this wouldn't happen, and then it happened, and God bless you. If this was the NCAA tournament and you were FAU, you win and move on. But here you have to do it 3 more times. I just had a friend text me from Chicago who covers the Bulls who goes, I didn't see that coming. I told him I didn't see it coming. Now they just need to do it 3 more times. I will say this, for those who like to express hope, if you get that Jimmy Butler, that son of a bitch, it's interesting. I would never put Jimmy.
You'll get him. I'm not concerned
about
that
level. But that level of greatness is hard to achieve consistently.
But it's realistic to think that he can do it. it's not realistic to think that Kevin Love will play like that again.
Or
You
Gabe
know,
Vincent
other guys,
threes like that. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. I have way more faith in Jimmy, balls out every single night of his life, every time he's out there, than anybody else on that team. You know what I'm saying? By the way, did Oladipo ask Spo's wife out for a date or something? Like what happened to Oladipo? Like he's fallen like way out of favor here. You would figure after that Tyler Hero injury that Depot would be a guy that would be getting some opportunities, and he doesn't see the light of day.
I wrote this in my Ask Ira at the Sun Sentinel today, and I have another story talking about the options without Tyler. And this is my thought, Big O. Victor Oladipo's highs can be the highest of highs. He can really go off for you. But his lows can be unfathomable. What the Heat need from their complementary players beyond Bam and Jimmy is consistency. Victor Oladipo doesn't give that to you. I think because it was a thunderbolt yesterday when Tyler went out. There was no reaction time. It was like Duncan go in. And even then, Duncan just played 6 minutes and they worked around bigger minutes for others. I think Eric Spoelstra tries to go to Victor Oladipo in these 2 days off here in snowy Milwaukee and says, can you be what you were in last year's playoffs? A defensive whiz, but also control your offensive instincts and understand you have to be a complementary player. Duncan Robinson knows he's a complementary player. Max Strus and Caleb Martin know they're complementary players. Victor Oladipo still has this thing that he can be the man. And in the games late in the season when Jimmy was out or Kyle was out, he can be the man. And a supporting player, I'm not sure he has that in him right now. So I think if Eric Spoelstra's thought is this, yeah, Vic might be able to step up and give me 20 points, or he might give me 8 turnovers. I could find the 20 points somewhere else. They got 130 yesterday, but I can't survive the 8 turnovers. He needs Vic to be consistent. I don't know if Vic can be that right now at this point in his career. I would suspect more Kyle Lowry, more Caleb Martin, and almost working around Victor Oladipo.
Well, Caleb at least was showing me some, but Kyle Lowry, I mean, okay.
He didn't do anything yesterday, but he had that 33-point game just a week ago. You know what? That's what it's going to take, Big O. If you want to sell hope in this series, is that every supporting player has to have their game. Just one. Kevin Love had his game, 1 victory. If Kyle Lowry has his game, maybe 1 win. If Max Strus can match what he did against the Bulls, 1 win. So what you want to do is, in each game, you're going to get Jimmy, you're going to get Bam. Who's the other guy who steps up? In game 1, it was Kevin Love. Who will it be in game 2?
Well, it wasn't Bam in that first half.
It's a whole game. It's 48. That was the perfect example of 48 minutes. I was sitting there writing a story, and Bam Adebayo's having a bad game, and Bam can't score. He was rebounding and passing. But God bless him, Big O, because at the moments of truth, when other players shrank, and sometimes Bam he was fantastic at the finish. We know the NBA. It's what happens at the end that matters most. They had the 14-point lead early, then the 17-point lead. But after it got to 3, the men stepped up and carried them to the finish. Because let's face it.
400-year-old man covering him, giving him 10 yards of cushion like quarterback.
Don't hear it. Your 400-year-old man has a chance to be the NBA Defensive Player of the Year because he is that savvy and smart with his defense. So no. Let's not reduce Brook Lopez to some cartoon character now. Milwaukee still had plenty out there with Drew Holiday.
He was giving him more space.
Sure.
There was so much airspace between him and Brook Lopez. If he had wings, he could have taken off. It would have been an entire runway for him.
You take what's given. You take that's smart. That's not simple. That's smart. Okay, the floater is there. The jumper is there. Or the great run out when Jimmy had that long pass to him. No, or even early when he drew the foul on Giannis early and gave Giannis his initial bump. Look, if it would have ended at halftime, I would have given Bam a D for the performance. He got back up into the B's, and you know what? He stepped up when they needed him to step up. No complaints with Bam Adebayo in that game.
Yeah, well, he's got to do better right from the get-go. He's lucky that no Giannis is there for the second half.
You're right. Of course. And they didn't have the goaltender. It's interesting, Big O. When the game started, Giannis started defending Gabe Vincent. So he was the free safety out there. He was the guy who would have been the second line of defense against Bam or Jimmy's post up. But two things changed. One, obviously, when Giannis goes out, that opens up. But Gabe kept them honest by hitting, I think it was 4 or 5 3-pointers. So that matters also.
He hit the nail in the coffin. He hit the nail in the coffin. His 3 sealed it, and then he added one more just to
that play by Jimmy Butler when Jimmy is falling down and tripping and about to go out of bounds and shovel passes the ball to Gabe, and you're going, what a god-awful position. Oh, 3, very good. It's just that that's that sort of no, yes kind of play they needed. You're going to need another 3 miracles against the Bucks to bring this home if you have any chance.
But I'll give Gabe credit. He's been on a roll over the last few games where he actually has been shooting really, really well. So give him a little love because he's been consistent. Now, if I tell you 55, 54, 66, and 67, what does that mean to you?
I assume shooting percentage is somewhere, so I'll let you go to there. You tell me.
No, that's a pretty good shooting percentage. No. Games played by Tyler Hero in 4 years, 55, 54, 66, and 67. And yesterday, out with a broken hand. That is one thing that has been an issue with his career. He is not reliable. He is not durable.
Well, stick figures aren't. When you have that kind of build, it plays into it. But I got to tell you, I had a former high school basketball coach text me this morning, and he said he thought it was a stupid play by Tyler. That you lose a ball, you have to realize in the moment that the aggression is great, but you have to make the smart play. We learned this with Dwayne Wade. You have to learn when to fall, when to sacrifice your body, but when to smarten up also. So I think Tyler has these basketball Jones instincts that he goes for it in every play. Maybe he has to dial that back. But you know what? With that kind of build, every year I do the same story. Tyler here was bulked up. And then the season happens. And then he winds up as a stick figure by the end. Yeah, when you have those kind of players with that kind of build, you leave yourself at risk for those kind of injuries. Again, when you mentioned the 60s there, I got to tell you, Big O, I know you don't like it. But if an NBA player gets to 65 games, to me, that these days, it's almost a full season. You're going to miss 15 to 17.
We had this same conversation with Jimmy last week. And the part you continue to miss is this team can't afford that. They're not good enough. They're not good enough to get 65 games out of Butler. They're good enough to get 75, 78 games out of Butler and 75, 78 games out of Tyler. Why? They're not deep enough. And why are they a 7 or 8 seed? Because people can't play complete seasons.
And that's decision-making also.
If those guys played 75 to 78 games instead, Miami may be a 4 or 5 seed instead of a 7 or 8 seed. So
or
really,
Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Adam Simon, and Nick Harrison gave them a better bench instead of signing Victor Oladipo for 2 years, instead of signing Dwayne Dedmon for $5.5 million, instead of some of these other guys, Haywood Highsmith at the end of the bench, and greater contributors. So I'm not so sure you blame the injured players as much as the whole thing. Again, we look at a team as a whole.
I can't give you max money. I can't give Tyler max money if you're not a max player, and I can't give Bam max money if you're not a max player.
They're actually near max. They're not fully max. They're not fully max. Tyler only has 4 years, didn't get the 5-year deal. It's a little different. But I got to tell you, Big O, when you are limited and over the cap because of the Lowry money and the Robinson money, you have to spend to keep your own because you can't buy outside. For example, Orlando Alzagari. The Miami Heat, because they're going to be over the tax going into the offseason, will just have the taxpayer mid-level exception. One $7 million exception. So it's easy for you, Orlando Alzagari, on a Monday morning here in the Accurate Pembroke Pines report to tell me you can't pay Max and bring him back. We can't do that again like Duncan. It's easy for you to tell me we can't bring Gabe Vincent back in big money. We can't do that again overpaying a player. But you have to bring back someone because you're in the salary cap hell, and there's one way out of it. If you agree that you're going to suck for 2 or 3 seasons and get it all back in order. I don't have a problem with that. It's much better than putting lipstick on a pig. And that's I don't know. I enjoyed lipstick on a pig yesterday. I enjoyed that pork belly when I was sitting here in Milwaukee.
That was a lucky break that the superstar went out, and then that completely changed the face of the game. And without Giannis, obviously the Heat have a chance in this series for sure. It changes everything. Even without Tyler, they have, because with Tyler, you're missing. You're really missing his ball handling, because you can get the scoring from somewhere else.
No, let me interrupt you for a second. What you're missing is his shot creation. That's what Tyler gives you. This is a very uncreative roster. These are guys who spot up for threes, Jimmy who draws fouls, Bam who has a little mid-range game. There's not a lot of creativity. The NBA is a league of creativity. Whether it's Reeves going off for the Lakers or John Morant when he's healthy, players like that, you need creative scorers. The Miami Heat is not a large team, is not an athletic team. Tyler can get you buckets in the fourth quarter. He led the NBA in clutch scoring this season by total points because of the Heat's volume of those games. That's what they're missing. That at the end of a game, if they send the double at Jimmy Butler, matter of fact, I'll put that ball in your court now, Big O. They send the double at Jimmy Butler, and he's played off the court like LeBron and others can be. Who do you want with Tyler Hero being out, having the ball in his hands? Hello.
Shooting or ball? Or
creating a play. 9 seconds left. Jimmy has two guys on him.
Bam.
Okay. And Bam, it's the middle jumper.
Creating a play. Okay. Not a key shot. Creating a play where you give it to him, and he's very good at facilitating.
But that's where you're limited.
I don't trust him offensively, but I do trust him
to make the
when
play.
It comes to facilitating. He is very good at that.
So that's what I'm saying is the Bucks have Chris Middleton to do that and Drew Holiday to do that. You need multiple creative scorers. The Heat will not have that now with Tyler Hero being out.
Yeah. The ball handling, there's no doubt that he is definitely going to be missed there in that area. The scoring you can replace. But see, that's my thing, that I just want the Heat to get back to committing to, like, dogs all over the place. And that, with Bam, that's what I was really frustrated with in the first half. It's just, man, you got to know where you're at, and you got to be able, you got to be a son of a bitch. And
I got to tell you, when it comes to the guards, the Heat thought they had that kind of dog in Kyle Lowry. They did. With the way he played in Toronto, that's what he is. He's a bulldog. Then he got old. He got old. The Heat thought they had that in Victor Oladipo potentially when they gave up Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley to the Rockets. He showed moments. He showed some in the playoffs. Then he got old, and it disappeared with the knee injuries. That's a problem. The Heat now have a reserve core of players who used to be that, and they need them to be that now, and they're not. That's part of the trusting the old player, is just like Ira Winderman and Orlando Alzagari. Old guys get old.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, they get old. Man, I went bowling this Saturday. I played 3 games. I could barely walk yesterday.
Yeah, been there.
Old, bro. Old. All right, so Tyler's out. You expect Giannis to make a comeback tomorrow?
They're practicing today, 3:30 Milwaukee time. A little later on the East Coast, we'll know a little bit more. They'll do everything they can. This reminds me so much of that series last year against the 76ers. Yeah. This reminds me so much about the 76ers. Remember, Joel Embiid missed the first 2 games, and they tried to go with DeAndre Jordan, and it really set them back. You can't get set back 2 games. Then all of a sudden, it really evens out a little bit more. So, you know what? There's lots of good medications and treatments to get Giannis out there on the court. Will he be fully himself? Probably not. But I will say this. 75% of Giannis is better than 50% of the players in the NBA. So now we wait and see. The 2-day break is huge. Not only is it a 2-day break, but they played 4:30 local time, 5:30 Eastern on Sunday. They don't play till 9 o'clock on Wednesday. So by the hour, this is a nice extended break. He's going to need that.
Yeah. By the way, somebody explained to Charles Barkley and everybody else out there, the television companies don't give a shit about your complaints about what time on what side of the coast. They're worried about what they're going to maximize their audiences. So they're fine with maximizing the West Coast audience and hurting the East Coast audience, just like many times they're fine maximizing the East Coast audience when a game's too early and the people on the West Coast aren't even home yet to watch the game.
Like Monday Night Football, yeah. You're stuck in the middle time-wise. Today's
Right.
the perfect example, Orlando. That Warriors-Kings game was one of the most exciting games I may have ever seen in the first round of the playoffs. And tonight you get it at 10:30. And tonight it becomes a late game again because of the scheduling. So you can't always have what you want. If you're into it, you'll watch it. If it means something to you, you tell your boss you're going to be in a little late in the morning, and you'll deal with it, because some games are worth staying up for. If the Heat were down 0-1 to the Bucks, I'm not so sure I could tell you on them being worth staying up for on Wednesday. Now they are. A series could be in the balance Wednesday night.
What are you going to do? Play it at 4:30 or 5:30 on the West Coast? No, dude, you can't do that. I'm sorry. It's not fair to their team and their fans. So you got to play it at 7:30 their time, prime time for them, and it's 10:30 for us. It is what it is, man. It's just, I don't understand why people don't get that part of it.
Right.
And TV runs the show, not the NBA, not the NFL, not Major League Baseball. Once they pay the rights, then they say, okay, we need the game at this time. And that's it. And that's the way it goes. It's out of their hands. They got to do the TV companies are doing what's best for their advertisers.
And when it changed, when you go from cable into more streaming like we're seeing, you might see a day, one day, honestly, when people are buying individual games on Prime or elsewhere, where maybe you vote for an NFL game on a Monday. What time do you want the game? Because we're selling directly to you, and then Sunday the game is played at that time. Screw the fans in the stands, screw the TV audience. The people who are paying the freight get to make the choice. It's going to be a different world soon enough.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, I ran down my list of all the possible options to replace Tyler, from starting Duncan again, going to Vic, maybe getting Caleb Martin in there for more defense, or maybe just telling Jimmy Butler to even do more. So I posted that already. I posted the Victor Oladipo question. Can he be trusted in those minutes? About to post a story on Giannis and where it stands, reminding people the Bucks played a game in March against the Heat. Giannis played only the first 6 minutes, and the Bucks got their biggest victory of the year. Give the Bucks time to game plan for not having Giannis. And you know what? They still have Drew Holiday. They still have Chris Middleton. They still have Brook Lopez. They still have Mike Budenholzer, a very good coach. They'll find a way also. Enjoy Sunday. Expect something a lot different on Wednesday.
Yeah, Spo told me what he felt about Oladipo already, and we'll see. If he's playing him, it's almost out of desperation now, is what kind of feels like. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, we will see you on Wednesday for the Red Recover.
Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, here from snowy Milwaukee. We'll have it all for you, redrecover.com inside the paint. And I'll be back on an Acura Pembroke Pines report on Friday with the Big O. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, Ira. Appreciate it. There you go. Acura Pembroke Pines, baby, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. Get on down there. Go see Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto and Tony Stampone and all the amazing people, man. Just a great sales staff out there. And by the way, if you own or lease an Acura, go see our service center out there. Jordan Ferber, Mike Chan, they run the show. Mike Chan is the man. All right. Mike Chan runs that entire service center and does an awesome job. Really comfortable area for you to relax. TVs, drinks, coffee. They've got a little cafeteria, all that kind of stuff there. They make it really convenient if you have to stay there for an oil change or something like that. So go check it out. 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. That is your Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Right. Thank you all out there. Thanks to Ira. Jose says, when is Lowry going to give us what we paid for? Oh, that'll never happen, Jose. Okay? That'll never happen. Sorry, my brother. That was a stupid contract by the Miami Heat, unfortunately. It's a really dumb trade and contract. Two mistakes were made there. You gave up better players, and you gave up a terrible contract. So you'll never get from him what you want. Dougie Fresh, Ira, is it a coincidence that Hero and Zero are homophones of one another? Is it realistic to think that our shooters could shoot better during the playoffs than the regular season? No, it's not. But it was fun last night. At least they got it done. Will Bam ever have his Bruce Leroy moment? Will he ever fulfill his true talents and be the man? That's Horn Dog. That's not who he is. Bam is just a really nice, decent human being. You know what I mean? He's just a great guy. And he just doesn't have any son of a bitch in him. It's just not who he is. You know what I mean? He's super gifted, right? Great talent, because he has great talent in him. But he does not play to the level of wanting to be the best out there. He kind of does enough. You know what I mean? And it's really frustrating because it's there. It's just, it's got to come out of you. And listen, how many people do you run in life into that you're at work or anywhere else, and you know that they have gifts, but they're not really completely using them? And that's Bam. And Bam has the physical gifts, but he doesn't have the mental engine that makes you Jimmy Butler, that makes you Dwayne Wade. That, you know, I tweeted this out yesterday. I tweeted out that Bam will never be that kind of guy that's a great player, a great competitor, that brings that dog. Like, UD is not Alonzo, not Wade, not Jimmy, okay? Talent-wise, he's not those guys. But attitude, character, fire, determination, he's one of those guys. He's one of those franchise players in that sense, right? Because there's all kinds of guys like that in the history of sports, that when your team is successful, you go, yeah, we were successful, but damn it, dude, you know, we needed Michael Cooper to help us out. You know, the great Lakers teams, you know, we needed Vinnie Johnson, you know, to do his job with the Pistons in order for us to win. And that's always the case. You know, Marino had like a Jim Jensen. You see what I'm saying? Guys that they weren't Duper Clayton, which you know what Duper and Clayton are. But then you need those other guys that are going to do the dirty work, you know? And then some of those guys become legendary guys in your team because they stay there for a long time, and they're kind of part of the fabric of your franchise, and they kind of represent what you want your franchise to be, what you want your great players to possess, what you want your good players to possess. You always want them to have UD qualities, right? And so that's why UD is who he is. He's going to have a statue outside that arena eventually. He'll have a jersey hanging in the rafters. And while he'll never be the talent that Alonzo Mourning was, the talent that Dwayne Wade was, I get that. But his impact is almost as prominent as those guys because he brought that determination, that grit, and that clutch. That every time you needed something from the guy, it was brought to the table every single time. It's just one of those kind of players. And you know them in the history of time on different teams, that they've been with organizations forever. You know, like a Troy Brown was for many years with the Patriots. You know, guys like that, you know, Larry Izzo was here for a long time before he went to the Patriots and kind of did the same thing. There are certain people that you just admire because of the competitor that they are, because of the dog that they are. You know, they're not nearly as gifted as the superstars, but man, they are so important to your success. And to me, that's the edge. That's the ingredient that Bam Adebayo is missing. He's missing that son of a bitch, that dog, that edge, that determination that you will not be stopped. That dude. And it's just, he's not that guy. Because do you want to know who Bam Adebayo is? Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you know who Bam Adebayo is? You ready? Are you ready with me? Come take the trip with me. His name is Jamal Mashburn. Great stats, great athleticism, not a son of a bitch. We'll pass it to Clarence Weatherspoon for the shot. That's who Bam is. He's Jamal Mashburn. I'm sorry. And go look at Jamal Mashburn's numbers. They'll be fantastic. Did he have dog in him? No. Because why? Great guy. Super decent human being. But is he going to possess what Grant Long has? What Keith Askins has? What Udonis Haslem has? No. Is he going to be Alonzo Mourning? Is he going to be Tim Hardaway? Who's going to mother F you and hit that three on your head? And going to drive to the hoop and get that pass and penetrate and make a layup or get a steal in the passing lane? That's Tim Hardaway. Because Tim Hardaway was a dog, was a son of a bitch. Dwayne Wade had that baby face. He had that kid's face with that smile. And that's what you thought, right? You thought, oh, baby face smile. Oh, he's a kid. And he was ready to cut your freaking heart out. Because he had that edge to him. Well, he looked really nice, and he looked like the All-American boy, right? With that golden smile, Dwayne Wade, right? Golden smile. He looked like the All-American child. But he was a son of a bitch. Magic was the same way. Golden smile, having fun, passing this, that. Cut your heart out. Certain guys are like that, man. Certain guys want to cut your heart out. And that's what's missing from Bam's ingredients. He's missing the cut your heart out ingredient, the son of a bitch spice. He doesn't have it. And it's just not in him. Why? Because he's Jamal Mashburn. I thought about that yesterday. And I thought about Jamal Mashburn. And I said, that's who he is. He's just a bigger version of Jamal Mashburn. That's all. And folks, you can't ask somebody to be what they're not. And unfortunately, if you want Bam to be, a nasty dude, that's not in his DNA. You're never going to get him to be Charles Barkley, and you're never going to get him to be Hakeem Olajuwon, and you're never going to get him to be whatever, any great player that you want. John Morant, John Morant is all dog. It's just, there are certain guys that have it. And if you're going to be a great player, you got to have that ingredient. And unfortunately, he has the Jamal Mashburn personality. And Jamal's a great guy, dude. Great guy. Really decent human being, and a hell of a player. Hell of a talent. But he lacked that edge. And there are certain guys like that, and I'm sure you'll come up with 100 of them over the history of sports. That's who he is. We have some breaking news. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts have reached an agreement on a 5-year, $255 million extension, including $179 million guaranteed per source. Hurts becomes the highest paid player in NFL history, a deal negotiated by Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports Group and Eagles GM Howie Roseman. And it's not fully guaranteed. So what's Lamar Jackson going to say now to that? All right, hour one is done. Hour number two, mastered by the one and only, the legend that is Sean Stanley, returns.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet Maiden. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for ejdconstruction.com.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Right, hour number 2 of the program. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Heat take a 1-0 lead in this best of 7 series against the Bucks. Tyler Hero is out 4 to 6 weeks, or he's done for the season, in other words. Unless, the Heat are in the finals, and, But Giannis, he'll play. We'll see. I'm sure he'll play tomorrow. He'll shoot that thing up, and Miami's going to have to play their asses off, and let's see what happens. We will find out if the boys can survive this first round, but they got the break of a lifetime. All right, so there is news in the Dolphin Nation as the Miami Dolphins added a wide receiver to their team. Now, for those of you, because what happened, I think because he changed his name, some of you didn't realize who Miami signed, right? And so he's got a name of the Chosen now, right? I guess that's his name now, the Chosen Anderson. He is the Chosen. And Robbie Anderson, who's been in the league for a few years now, the Dolphins added him, the 29-year-old who's been in the league for 7 years, played for the Jets, played for the Panthers and the Cardinals. Anderson is 6'3". He's got some speed. He played for Plantation High, South Plantation High. He had 900 yards back in 2017. In 2020, he topped 1,000 with the Panthers. He had a career low 282 yards receiving last year. Okay. Anderson has seen his catch percentage decrease in each of the past 2 seasons, but he averaged 13.2 yards per catch in his career. Okay. He's got talent. There's no doubt that Robbie Anderson, the Chosen, whatever. You know what, bro? I have a hard time calling this guy the Chosen or whatever. Robbie Anderson, he's done a bunch of stupid shit in his career and gotten in trouble and said some stupid shit and all that kind of stuff. He's done a lot of harm to his own career. Okay. Hopefully he's grown up some, but let me explain to you what I think is happening here. Okay. Are you guys ready? Okay. So let's not bullshit. Let's handle this the right way. Let's look at this the right way. Okay. I think Robbie Anderson is nothing more than an insurance policy / favor. Okay. I don't know who his agent is, but I want to say his agent has a friend in the Dolphin organization up in the front office. Whether it's Chris Greer, whether it's Reggie McKenzie, whether it's Marvin Allen, or maybe somebody else that's pretty much up there in the hierarchy close to it. And that agent and hey, do me a favor, man. Give my guy a chance, and because not a lot of people are going to be signing Robbie Anderson. So they gave him a chance. And then 2, Robbie has a chance to prove himself because he has talent. And just in case you trade Cedric Wilson coming up in the draft. So now big body guy. You replace him with another big body guy. Now he'll compete, Robbie, that is, with the rest of the guys to try to make the roster and make up for Cedric if Cedric's not there. Okay? Cedric is a terrific person, a very reliable person. So I think what Robbie is going to get is an opportunity to just kind of prove himself while he's here. I don't think he has any shot, barring major injuries to the people in front of him, a trade in Cedric Wilson to possibly open up an opportunity for him, something along those lines. But Robbie Anderson is only here as a deep option just in case you trade Cedric, or two, somebody in the Dolphin organization is doing a favor for the agent of Robbie Anderson, and that's why he's here. Miami doesn't need Robbie Anderson whatsoever. Let's get that shit straight. Okay? All right? Let's just understand that. They don't need him at all. Nobody really needs Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson needs the NFL. Robbie Anderson is the one that has buried his own career at times. So Robbie Anderson is the reason why he is where he's at right now. Because he has chosen to make bad decisions. All right? So let's just get that shit straight. Robbie Anderson is here because somebody's doing him a favor, or because Chris Grier said, what the hell? Maybe we get a couple of injuries. Maybe we trade Cedric Wilson. And if this kid screws his head on right, maybe we give him a chance to be on the back end of the receiving corps. But nobody is counting on Robbie Anderson. Let's get that shit straight. Nobody needs Robbie Anderson. Nobody's counting on Robbie Anderson. It's all up to Robbie Anderson to straighten his shit out and get it done. Okay? That's the reality. It's all on Robbie Anderson. So he's going to have to come out here and ball out. And let me tell you something, folks. He has the talent. Okay? This isn't a schmuck. This isn't some guy that is hanging on and has no talent. And no. He's still hanging on because he has talent. That's why they've tolerated some of the stuff that he's done. Okay? He's been kind of under the radar now the last couple of years. He's behaved better. So hopefully, he's not going to get a lot of chances left. Okay? And he has to know that. His agent has to know that. So this is an opportunity of a lifetime for him. It's up to him not to screw it up. But let's get this shit straight. The Dolphins really don't need Robbie Anderson. The NFL really doesn't need Robbie Anderson. It's up to Robbie Anderson to earn his way back and try to convince NFL teams that he can behave the right way, be a professional, and be effective. Okay? That's the key. We shall see what happens with Robbie. Talent is there, but you should not count on anything with Robbie Anderson. True Fin Fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. The stinky hole between two cheeks, Anderson. Ugh. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but, it's up to Robbie, bro. It's all up to Robbie. That's it. Unless Robbie can contribute on special teams, I give him zero chance of making the roster. Yeah. Injuries, like I tell you trade Cedric and injuries, maybe that can open up something for him. But outside of that, it's all up to him, bro. It's all up to him. We'll see. I hope his jersey says chosen instead of Anderson. I would buy that jersey. Robbie Anderson also played with some of the most garbage QBs in the last 3 to 4 years. Actually, I think his whole career. He now has a real QB and team to play with. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with his boneheaded decisions that he's made. You can go back and go look at that has zero to do with that. Again, this has nothing to do with his talent at all. Has to do with professionalism and maturity and those kind of things. And to his credit, he has been a much better citizen the last couple of years than in his first few years where he made all kinds of stupid mistakes. Okay? We'll see. But my point is, do not count on him. He that's, he's just got to prove it to you more than anything else. Philip says, what's up, Big O? Florida sports. What's in the water? Jags, Fins, Florida, AT, Tampa Bay baseball, Heat. Yeah, man. Yeah. And those amazing Marlins are 8-8, baby. Anderson will play the preseason most likely and get cut. Yeah, I certainly don't need to see Tyreek or Waddle much in the preseason. I don't want to see Tyreek or Waddle in the preseason too much. Who the hell wants to see those guys in the preseason? Shit. Big O, wish you were back on radio. Miss you, brother. Randall, I don't wish I was back on radio. Why would you want me back on radio? I don't understand that when people say that shit. I'm here every day for 3 hours, very little commercials. We just had a commercial in the last hour at the top of the hour for 3 minutes. Why would you want me on radio to do 28 minutes of talk and 32 minutes of commercials and traffic and updates? And I can't be myself on radio. I don't understand why people keep saying that. I'm here for you every day. I'm here for you on demand. I'm here for you, and I don't have to put up with any politics bullshit from the company because I am my own company now. I'm not exactly sure. And by the way, what are you, 87 years old? You're still listening to radio? Platforms, my brother. Move on. Radio's dead. Radio's for people that are too old to handle a phone or an iPad or a smart car. That's what radio is. Radio are for old ass farts that cannot adjust to what's changed in the world of technology. So you don't want me on radio anymore, bro. And I never want to be on radio ever again. I have no interest ever on being on radio. Zero. What is your take on the Dalvin Cook rumors? You can go listen to it. It's there. Go on the platform. I talk about Dalvin Cook. It's on there now. Sean already posted it. You can go check it out. Yeah, I liked it when Big O gave us the traffic updates more. Lenny says, this is way better than radio. Of course it is, dude. It's not even close, dude. Radio sucks. What the hell do you want to listen to radio for? Listen to 7-8 minute segments and 9-minute commercial breaks? It's ridiculous. This format is 10 times better than radio. Of course it is. Wish you were back on the highlight court, says Dougie Fresh. Panthers can win 1 or 2 games. Well, I hope so. It's man, God, they got Boston. Although I got to say, this year the Panthers have actually played really well against the Bruins, which is the screwed up part. You know, the crazy thing about the NHL is none of it is predictable, man. Just because you're the number 1 seed doesn't mean shit in hockey. Home ice doesn't mean shit in hockey, dude. Panthers had the best record in the league last year, out in the second round. And that happens all the time, man. Number 1 seeds, what's it, the President's Trophy, right? I think it is. It's called. Tons of teams go out that way. Emilio says, maybe Randall doesn't know that he can plug in his phone and listen to you in the car unless he's old man and drives a 1900 Model T. Big O killed the radio star. That's it. The Big O radio show killed the radio star. Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo. I actually saw that video this weekend. It's such a great video. You know, well, there's a couple of live videos of Radio Gaga because you can see the Live Aid one, but I watched another one that wasn't a Live Aid one, and the whole damn stadium is, you know, doing the Radio Gaga, and they're doing the clapping and all that. It's just so awesome. There's nobody like Freddie. Nobody ever will be like Freddie. That is the greatest rock singer of all. I mean, he's one of the greatest singers, period, ever in the history of time. But he is the greatest rock singer by miles and miles and miles. He's so good that no other rock singer who is great, if you tell them, yeah, you're phenomenal, you're only second to Freddie, they'll all say, yes, we are. You know, you can walk up to Robert Plant, you can walk up to any of the greatest voices from Rob Halford and, you know, you name it, whoever you want to name. Tell them you are one of the greatest ever, but you're still behind Freddie. And they'll all say, you're right. You're right. Because it's kind of universally known, and it's kind of like the law. Like there's Freddie, and then there's the rest of us. You know, it's kind of like that. I cannot remember the last time I tuned on the radio. It's podcast, streaming, or YouTube for me all day. Exactly. Radio's dead, bro. Dead. Edward Thurston Howe chimes in with a super chat. Says the Big O is self-employed and isn't looking back. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I don't need a corporation. I am the corporation. Thank the Lord. Knocking on Formica. Oh, here's a little wood. There we go. Thank the Lord. Sean and I can stand on our own, man. Nice little dip in the crypto market right now. You got Bitcoin just under 30,000 right now. Take advantage. That shit is going to fly. Not a financial advisor. True Fin Fan, another super chat. He says there is nothing like having you here, KCUF Radio. Oh, I like this way better than radio because then we would not get your wrestling takes. That is true. So, yeah, you got to have the strong wrestling takes. Remember, by the way, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation. There's a little dip in Bitcoin right now. There's a good time to make a Bitcoin donation right now on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Cedric Wilson and a third-round pick for Dalvin and a fourth. Greer pulls the trigger. No, he won't, Chad. He won't. But nice try on your part. Big O, maybe that's your old producer missing you. Nah, my producers are way smarter than that. They know. Although all my old producers are no longer in radio, the only one that's left is Solana. And, of course, they're hanging on for dear life over there at Odyssey. Because that's a sinking ship right there. Let's see. Not the same thing, but teams learn from huge additions like the Sue signing. Depends on the front office. I don't think if you would have kept Mike Tannenbaum, he would have learned the damn thing. I think he would have continued to do things the way he normally does them. Alex says, question with the trade rumors for Dalvin Cook. How does that affect the rest of the running back room? Don't see why they sign everybody. Alex, you can check out the segment. It's there on our page. I talk about it. Chris Jordan says, I'm such a redneck. I listen to Neil Rogers shows, Big O. I think we all listen to Neil Rogers. Doesn't matter who you are back in the day. Of course, if you're old enough, that is. You know. Some teams hardly ever cellar dwellers, and that's because they keep their team's budgets from being feast and famine. It is what it is. What can we tell you? All right. We got hockey tonight. We got the Panthers back in action. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for them against the Bruins. Going to be a hell of a challenge for them. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Nets and Sixers at 7:30. Warriors and the Kings are at 10 o'clock. Miami will be back in action against the Bucks on Wednesday. Bucks are favored by 6. At 9 o'clock is the game. So that's a little late. You'd want it a little earlier, but hey, suck it up, East Coast. It is what it is. So we got all that going on. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to take a quick break. Manny Navarro is going to join us on the other side with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
Hey, yo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it Manny or Alan?
I'm sorry. Alan Poupart. Why did I say Manny? Manny's
Okay, I just want to make sure who to come back in with the break.
No. That's my bad. I can see Alan there. I can see it there and everything. Of course, it's Alan. My bad. Alan Poupart, because we have Alan today and then Marcel at noon. I don't know why I said Manny. Manny is at 11:30, but it's tomorrow. So, my bad. Alan Poupart, baby, Canada's finest. Okay? You thought maybe it was Rush? Maybe Triumph? Right? No. It's not Poutine either. It's Alan Poupart. Canada's finest is next. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report exclusively on a Big O radio show.
There he is, the chosen one, Alan Poupart, ready to go. How you feeling, chosen one?
No, that's Robbie Anderson.
No, it's you. Forget.
No, he's a chosen one.
It from you.
I'm doing well. I'm not doing nearly as well as Jalen Hurts is doing, but I'm doing well. Thank you.
I just what's Lamar Jackson saying now? Shit.
Holy moly.
Damn it.
What are the Ravens saying? Oh shit.
Yay!
We already had enough problems signing Lamar Jackson. Now we got this to deal with.
No, the Ravens are saying, you see how he didn't get it. Nobody's getting fully guaranteed. You see, Lamar, you see?
Yeah, like Lamar would turn down five for 255 with 180 guaranteed or 179, whatever it was. Holy moly.
I mean, is that, did they offer something in that neighborhood? Right? I think the last report was like 130 something guaranteed, right?
Well, there was a cryptic tweet from Lamar Jackson, 133 fully guaranteed. And everybody assumes that was the Ravens offer that Lamar turned down. And maybe I'm crazy and wouldn't be the first time, but is it possible that that's what Lamar is saying? I would take that. Do you think Lamar would turn down 3 years, 40? It comes out to 44 mil, fully guaranteed?
Oh, I think he would. Unfortunately,
Really?
I think there's a lot of ignorance there, unfortunately, with the young man, and I think he's dead set on getting 200 million guaranteed or something like that, or something really close to that. Yeah, and when he sees the 170, he's going to probably say, "No, I need more than that. I've done more than Jalen Hurts or whatever." And I don't know. It's weird. I think he has a bloated opinion of himself. And, and I got to tell you something, that the part that he's completely missing there aren't a lot of teams that are going to bend over backwards for him the way the Ravens have. There aren't a lot of coaches, a lot of offensive coordinators that want to coach that kind of an offense and stay with that kind of an offense. And the dedication that the Ravens have shown to Lamar Jackson and to run that offense, I commend them for that, because that's almost like trying to win in the NBA with 2-point shots when you're in a 3-point league nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Or playing 90s football in the 2020s.
Well, it's gotten them pretty well-sustained success, other than the fact he's gotten hurt the last 2 years. Tennessee plays pretty kind of a dinosaur type of offense, and they got to the AFC Championship game. But it's, generally speaking, to have sustained success, you got to be able to throw the ball a lot better in those two teams. That's for sure.
And by the way, they get to the playoffs, but they have no success in the playoffs.
They've had very little in the playoffs.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything in the playoffs. So it's a as I've always said about the Ravens, it's a really difficult offense to prepare for in the regular season. But by the time you get to the playoffs, the best defenses are left now. And so then they figure you out and they just stop the run and say, all right, kid, beat us with your arm. And that's where he struggles. So I don't know. I just see there's a report already that said he's not reporting to the mini camps. I kind of see a holdout here. I think a holdout's coming in training camp. I really do.
That's entirely possible. But then again, if you remember though, wait a second. No, he hasn't signed. He hasn't signed a.
No, he hasn't signed it. That's why he's hold out.
He's technically not under contract. So it's if we want to get technical, it's not a holdout if you're not under contract.
Right. Exactly.
And so which means
what I mean. But
I
know what I
mean. But they can't fine him, because otherwise,
right.
Because of the amount of fines nowadays for literally holding out, those are pretty egregious, and players don't do that anymore. This is why you have the old quote unquote holding in as opposed to holding out.
Right, exactly. But in his case, he can actually stay away because he didn't sign the tender, which I don't think he's going to sign it. I really feel like this is going to be a really ugly situation, because I think he's kind of dead set on getting his money. All right, let's move over to the chosen one. I talked a little bit about this before you came on. I don't find a lot of substance in this move, to be quite honest with you. I think this is a favor to the agent of Robbie Anderson from somebody in the organization. 2, this is Chris Grier saying, you know what? We'll bring him in. Maybe if we're able to trade Cedric Wilson, then he'll have a shot to compete for a spot or something like that. And if he screws his head on right, and he's kind of been a better citizen the last couple of years. He hasn't gone and done the stupid things that he was doing early on in his career. So he's kind of calmed down lately. So that's the good thing for him. But I think this is just one of those wild card signings or a favor that's going on. I don't really hold a lot of substance to this or a lot of hope for Robbie even making this team. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the biggest key for me is going to be, let's wait until we see the details. I cannot for the life of me imagine that there's a lot of money involved there. So from that standpoint, I look at this Dolphin roster. Do they have anybody as an outside guy who really impresses you? And to me, the answer is not even close. And Chosen Anderson has done some good work in his career at times, getting himself deep down the field as a deep threat type of guy. And if he can produce in that role with either Hill or Waddle in the slot on certain plays when he's on the field, it occupies a defense where you have to respect Anderson's deep speed, and it creates even more opportunity for those two guys to work their magic 15, 20 yards down the field. Because, Braxton Berrios is more of a slot guy. Cedric Wilson.
Oh, he can be an outside guy. He can be an outside.
He can be, but he's not a burner, and he's maybe more of a slot guy. Ezukama is a 50-50 win the jump ball type of guy. He's not a burner. So there is nobody like that on the roster. So again, if they paid him very little, which is what I suspect, why not take a shot? I have no. To me, it's a lot better than Mohamed Sanu being signed last year
Oh,
when
yeah. God,
when the
yes,
best
yes.
football was 5 years behind him.
Yeah. Although I will say his practice attire was cool.
It was,
He had all
it
his
was-
type.
it
He
was-
looked good in his practice. I gotta
He did.
say,
He
Mohamed
really did.
Sanu knows how to dress for practice because he
Mhm.
looked tight, bro. So I gotta give him props there. He looked slick in practice.
But it
But
took
to me,
two practices
this
to
is
be
one
like,
of those. This is one of those you can't lose moves by the Dolphins because you're really not paying him any money. And you're probably just giving a minimum deal with some incentives. And if he keeps his head screwed on right, which he has the last couple of years, and he has talent. It's not like he doesn't lack talent. He doesn't lack talent at all, bro. This kid has ability, but it's up to him to kind of figure things out. You know, it's the way I look at it.
He brings an element to the offense that wasn't there. Obviously, other than Hill and Waddle, who can line up on side and go deep. Yes, they had that before with those two guys, but now it gives you the flexibility to have that when one or the other two guys on both sides, if one of them lines up in the slot. So,
Okay. Your thoughts on the Dalvin Cook stuff?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I get the connection and all that. And then, Barry reported that like in March, the Dolphins made a phone call, to gauge and explore the territory, the possibility. But that was in March before free agency started. And then they wanted to bring back all of their running backs. And Dalvin Cook makes a crap load of money. And if he winds up getting released, Minnesota would love to work out a trade because it lessens their financial burden with him. Dalvin Cook's agent would love to see a trade happen because he's staring at the possibility of his client getting cut. And the connection's obvious because Dalvin Cook's from Miami, played at Miami Central, and he's a very productive, great back. But to me, it makes no logical sense once the Dolphins re-sign all of their running backs from last year, which screams to you, I'm happy with the guys we have. They can get the job done. So I'm not. I wrote
somehow or another, the Dolphins keep telling you we're happy with our quarterback. We're not panicking about our offensive line. We're happy with our running backs, and yet people still want to make changes to all of those positions. And it's like they keep telling you, you know what I mean? And let me tell you, I'm just as concerned about left guard and right tackle as anybody out there, but they keep telling you, well, you guys may not like Austin Jackson or Liam Eichenberg, but that's not us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you explain it. I try to explain it to people, but somehow or another, the public doesn't want to hear it. They want another quarterback. They want more offensive linemen, and they definitely want any other running back that's available out there.
No, right, yeah, those guys don't get a lot of respect. But that's how it starts. I mean, the agent's on a podcast with four guys, one of whom is a Dolphin fan, and then the report comes out of the possibility of the Vikings cutting him before the draft, which makes sense from their end because he's very expensive.
Right.
And then the podcast host goes, tell me he's coming to the Dolphins. Tell me he's coming to the Dolphins. And then the agent references the report saying that the media knows nothing about mock drafts, but they're kind of right when they talk about their breaking news. Well, or their rumored trades or moves or whatever. Well, that discussion happened again in March. That was never mentioned on the show. So when the agent is saying, kind of suggesting that, yeah, you're correct that the Dolphins did explore the possibility of a trade. Yeah, they did in March. Before free agency, before they re-signed all of their same guys and brought everybody back.
Right. Which tells me they called knowing that they would want to cut them eventually. So they wanted to see if they can get low-hanging fruit, because that's what this front office does practically all the time. They're trying to find low-hanging fruit like they did with Jalen Ramsey. Oh, yeah, no, you're going to end up cutting him, right? So, hey, listen, at least we'll give you a third for him, that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of shit I'm sure. Yeah, no, hey, you're going to end up cutting him anyways, guys. We'll give you a fifth rounder for him. And they're like, nah, get out of here. And now they're in this bind now, and nobody's giving you anything because running backs are not that, I don't know. They're not that wanted so much in this league. They're easily replaced. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Although, again, there was nothing wrong with Miami's running backs last year.
And Dalvin Cook is very, very good. I mean, let's not take anything away from the dude.
Awesome.
No, but the other factor too, now when he gets cut, or if he gets cut, he's going to be looking for a deal. What are the Dolphins going to offer him after they paid all those guys? I mean, that's
nothing. They still have to pay Wilkins and Sealer. They have money they have to pay next year. That's not their MO. They're not going to pay, bro.
Right.
They're not going to pay. They're not going to trade. They're not going to do any of that. For a running back, they're going to go for low-hanging fruit, and that's what Jeff Wilson, that's what Raheem Mostert, and that's what Salvon Ahmed were. They were low-hanging fruit. They didn't have to go out and spend big-time money on that. So I kind of expect. Yes, sir.
Now, if Mike McDaniel does, as we hope, stay with the running game a little bit longer in 2023, and then those guys don't produce, then next offseason, then you go get.
Now we have a problem.
A big name running back. Yeah.
Right. But both your backs averaged over 4.5 yards. I don't know off the top of my head what Salvon Ahmed did, but I know it was impressive because every time that kid's number was called, he popped a run every damn time. I don't know what it was, but it was a good clip, right? Salvon Ahmed also had a good clip.
Over 5 per carry.
Over 5. Holy shit. Yeah. So the scheme wasn't the problem. Just better the left guard and better the right tackle, and your backs will be just
stay with the running with the running game when it's working.
And stay with it when it's working, and everything will be beautiful. I'm with you there. Are you expecting them to stay kind of quiet under the radar leading up to the draft?
Yeah, I mean, if they make moves, it'll be the type of move we saw this weekend with Chosen Anderson. It will be, low risk, potentially high reward moves. I mean, they have $3 million under the cap right now.
Right, training camp fodder is what you're saying.
Yeah.
If they make a move, it's training camp fodder.
Maybe a veteran guy, June 1st or whatever. Maybe a veteran right tackle to compete / backup for Austin Johnson.
What the hell is going on with Brandon Shell? Nobody has signed him.
Nope.
Is he healthy? Is he ready to go? I mean, is he asking for too much money? What the hell happened, bro?
I know he got hurt late last season. I don't recall there being anything like. I think it was like a ankle sprain.
I was told he's all right already at this point.
Yeah, it was like an ankle sprain or something. So it was.
Yeah, I was told he's fine, and I thought he did a good job, man. I would have brought him back.
He was solid.
Yeah, he was solid.
I would have brought him back too. And again, it could be simply a matter of the Dolphins playing all the veteran free agent right tackles who are out there against each other to see who they can get at the lowest price. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. They're probably trying to get the low-hanging fruit. That's what they're trying to do at this point. All right. What are you working on Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out and you and Omar going back and forth on the podcast too?
Yeah, the podcast is out. It was released yesterday. It can be found on YouTube, All Dolphins Podcast. It can be found also at alldolphins.com. We're going to have a story addressing the Jalen Hurts contract and what it might mean in the not too distant future for Tua. Bunch of draft related stuff. And then everything and anything else that needs to be covered will be covered because that's what we do at alldolphins.com.
There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Alan, as always, thank you, my friend. Montreal's finest. Appreciate you.
Go Panthers.
Yes. Go Panthers. Go Panthers. You damn right. Thank you, sir. There you go. Call my guy Eric at EJD Construction. They know how to get it done, folks. 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. Dade, Broward County, you're dealing with a lot of water damage and those kind of things. You may need some remediation. Call EJD Construction right now in Broward County, 305-433-4843. If you're about to renew your insurance policy and they're telling you you've got to upgrade your roof because your home is over 20 years old, well, guess what? Call EJD Construction. They can upgrade that roof for you. And if you're looking to do anything, all right, expand your home, build a new room, build a second floor, whatever it is you want to do, EJD Construction can get it done for you. One of our listeners, in fact, they started on a what's it called, home theater, with stadium seating and everything. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's our second listener that's getting a home theater with stadium seating. Like, that is freaking cool. I envy you all out there. That has got to be so awesome. I have a friend of mine that has he has a big old house, and he has one of those home theater rooms that has the stadium seating, and that is just absolutely badass. So nice job by you guys. Call EJD Construction. Call Eric. This is his personal cell number, 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Right. Is Cook willing to be paid the same as the water boy? Maybe if he gets cut, Miami will let him come in and compete. If he's going to want money, he ain't coming here. That's for sure. Let's see. They keep adding wideouts they don't need. I have no faith that they stick to the running game. Well, that's a little early. The coach called himself out, my man. And that's pretty cool. That's why I like McDaniel. He's not these. He is stubborn. He is set in his ways because he refused to use Gesicki, which I thought that's, that was, there were times where he didn't stick to the running game and it was working. That was bad coaching. There were times when, all throughout the year, he failed to use Gesicki. And just because he can't block, I get it. Doesn't mean he's not a terrific pass catcher. And a mismatch out there for most linebackers or safeties that have to try to stay with him. So I'd use him. And, so there are things that he is stubborn, but he's also smart enough to admit when he's wrong. And I like that a lot. Okay, because that's a quality we all need. If you get shit wrong or you're doing something wrong, you need to at least address it, man. You need to admit to yourself, hey, man, I screwed up. So that way you can fix it. Because if not, you can't live your life ignorant like that. So I think he's going to stick more to the running game this year. That's where he comes from. He got a little too crazy with the passing game last year, too aggressive with the passing game. I disagree with you. I think Big D, he's going to do a much better job of staying with the run. I have faith in McDaniel. I do. What else do we have here? I used to pay for satellite radio, but got rid of it due to music streaming platforms and podcasts. I'm sure that will be next to go. King Shore says, dude is sneaky, gonna be a beast. I don't know who he's talking about. Are you talking about Robbie? The running back from Pittsburgh, yes, would be a nice addition. Yes, Lenny. He would be awesome at 51. I can't argue with that. I don't think they'll do it, but if he's there at 51, yeah. Or the third round, yes, he would be a hell of a pick. Dougie Fresh, dog question. Do you ever dare to take more than one for a walk at the same time? Yeah, I've done it. I've taken two at the same time for a walk. I don't take two big dogs for a walk. I take one big one or a small one. We've done it, but normally I don't. We don't really take them for walks anymore. I don't do that anymore. I sit in the backyard and I let them run around like crazy. And it's a lot better because the walking is nice, but then they're also walking on the sidewalk. And then the sidewalk with the sun beating down sometimes can get pretty hot. So if you're going to walk them, then you've got to wait till late in the day when the sidewalks are kind of cool. I don't want to do that to the dog, right? And so running in our backyard on the artificial turf, it's got that little sand to cool it down. And we don't run. You walk them around the block. Well, I give Maiden and Bono a chance, and they're running all over and tackling each other and, play fighting and all that. And so that gives them even more of a workout than anything that they would do walking around. So that's why. And I'm this is weird. But I kind of like being in our yard instead of when you're walking a dog on the street and the sidewalks and all, they start smelling all kinds of shit and weird stuff. And there's something dead on the sidewalk or some rotten something that's lying there. And, you got to like pay attention to keep them away from everything. You know what I'm saying? In our backyard, we don't have to worry about any of that. It's nice and clean and pristine, and they're walking around. And if they leave a little bit of a mess, then I go and I pick it up and get it out of the way. You know what I mean? So it's kind of their environment, that backyard. So I kind of like that too, in a way. So it's a safer environment for the dogs. So that's why I really don't walk my dogs I don't even walk my dogs anymore. You know what I mean? And especially now after Cutter's Edge took our backyard to just an absolutely different level, we hang out in the backyard like crazy, which is really, really fun. So there you go, Dougie Fresh. That's my answer. People don't realize we have very little receiver depth. Jason, how many people have Waddle and Hill in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Cedric Wilson's a damn good receiver for number 3. So I disagree with you. And they've got Eric Ezukama, who I like. They're developing that kid. The Craycraft player did a really nice job last year. And Braxton Berrios is a good slot receiver. I think they have more than enough depth at wide receiver. You're not really keeping 7 or 8 players. So I can name you 5 receivers that they'll easily keep and easily use. I disagree with you. They do have enough depth. Nobody has 2 receivers like Waddle and Hill. You might find another 1 or 2 teams that have 2 elite receivers like that. Most of the league, if they're lucky, Jason, they'll have 1 elite receiver. If they're lucky. Miami has 2 arguably top 10, top 15 wide receivers. I don't know where you want to put Waddle, but Waddle is somewhere in the top 15 in the NFL. I completely disagree with you on that. Big O, I heard the Vikings are cutting the chef. Maybe the Dolphins sign him to compete with the main chef position. Very important to keep the boy well fed. We shall see. Big O, how do you think Jerome Baker will do in this new defensive scheme? Your guess is as good as mine, my brother. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Duke says, dogs take me for a walk. Yeah, that happens. Maiden, it's impossible to take Maiden out for a walk. Oh my God, because she is such an aggressive dog. And she sees any other human being and she wants to just eat them alive. And she is tugging and pulling you throughout the entire thing. I can't walk Maiden. I can't walk her in public. She's just not sociable. With us, she's fantastic. But with, strangers, forget it, dude. No way. My God. Yeah, I can't. Maiden is she's a ball of fire, man. Ball of fire. She is, when we got her as a puppy, my wife was like, are you sure she's going to be like a guard dog? I go, I don't know, but, we got to, give her a chance to see if she can be a good guard dog. And now my wife is like, wow, she's phenomenal. Because that dog doesn't take shit from anybody, brother. She is fearless. Strong as an ox, too, man. God. She only weighs 75 pounds. She doesn't weigh a ton. She's not like a 100-pound dog or 120-pound dog, or some of you have those big, giant dogs. 75 is not really heavy. It's not like huge. You know what I'm saying? She's like a big, medium-sized dog, I guess that's what you call it. But man, she is strong as an ox. God, and super athletic. She can run like a deer, man. Strong, strong dog. Yeah, she's no fun to walk at all. She takes the fun out of walking completely. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Waddle, arguably top 10. Oh, I know. Top 10. I say 15 for, shits and giggles for argument's sake, but he's a freaking stud. Just imagine Easy development watching Hill Waddle going against X and Ramsey. If he is special, it should unlock it for sure. Yep. Dougie Fresh says, thank you. Oh, I am dog sitting this week. Wow. Well, I hope you don't have to walk a maiden type dog, because that would not be fun. Barrios is Waddle and Hill's replacement, then Cedric and Craycraft. We should have now Barrios can't go on the outside night. It would be Cedric Wilson to play on the outside. Barrios is limited to inside. He's a slot guy. You don't use him on the outside. Too small, not fast enough to be on the outside. Remember, he's a quick little player in space, but he's not a speed guy. Jason says, I know we have 2 studs. I'm not stupid. I'm just saying we don't have any more that's proven behind him. That's all. Barrios doesn't scare anyone. Barrios is a decent slot guy. Cedric Wilson's a good receiver overall. Craycraft has played very well. It's that Jason, people don't carry around like 5 super experienced wide receivers. Usually the backup guys are, and especially when you've got Hill and Waddle, which are 2 guys you're going to pay a lot of money to, right? Waddle's not getting that money yet, but in another year, you're going to have to give him that contract. So you can't tie yourself down to, 4 or 5 really good wide receivers, because the salary cap does not allow you to do that. So the backup guys, if they're not drafted players that are developing into stars, they're going to be kind of, backups, journeymen, role players, those kind of guys. That's normal, dude. Look at the Bengals. Great example. They have 3 studs, right? Well, now Boyd is going to be gone, and they're trying to trade Higgins because they've got to pay the number 1 guy. And they're not willing to pay Higgins and what's it called? I'm brain farting. The LSU kid. What's his name? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. They're not willing to do that because they're cheap. So they're going to trade T. Higgins, and they're going to get rid of Taj Boyd. And then what's going to be behind your number 1 wide receiver? They're not even going to have that. And they've had the best wide receiving core for the last couple of years. Jamar Chase, thank you. So you got to look at it and be a little bit more realistic about where you're at. They're actually pretty deep in that position. GP Trap says, I'm telling you right now, Braxton's going to open everything up. Braxton will do a nice little job as a slot receiver. It's what he is. That's all. Good morning, Big O. I just tuned in. What's your take on the Panthers trying to take down arguably the best team in the NHL this year, the Boston Bruins? It will not be easy, my friend. It'll be incredibly hard. But the funny part is, this is the NHL, which the number 1 seed and home ice don't mean shit. And 2, the Panthers played very well against the Bruins this year in an odd thing. So who knows? Maybe they're the kind of team that can give them some trouble. Look, the best part about the Panthers, they've got nothing to lose. They're going in with house money. Nobody's picking them. Nobody thinks they're going to beat the Bruins. So they're everybody's underdog. They're everybody's counting you out. it's a perfect position for them to be in. Now let's see if Tkachuk and the boys can actually get it done. Our number 3 rolls on with Sean Stanley mastering the platform. Marcel Louis-Jacques joins us next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All righty, there he is, locked and loaded. We need that judge robe so we can put him in a judge robe, by the way, and a wig. And a wig. We need a wig. We need that.
And a wig and the mallet, not the
and the mallet.
Gavel. That's what it's called.
The gavel, exactly. We need the gavel. So, listeners, let's go. Let's dress him up for some of these segments. Because at home he can wear the judge. He can't do it at Dolphins camp, but when he's at home, come out in the judges thing every once in a while. You know,
when you see the robe, you know the particularly spicy takes are coming. The real heat is coming.
That shit'll go viral. If you're actually wearing a wig and a robe, that shit's gonna go viral, bro. People are gonna be tripping out with that, bro. It's gonna be awesome. We'll do it. We'll do it. You'll see. Eventually, it'll come in. It'll happen because we have the best listeners on the planet. All right. The Chosen One is in town. Your thoughts on the Chosen One now, Robbie Anderson?
Yeah, sure. You know, like it's low risk, high reward. Right. Obviously, we have seen what he looks like when he is not motivated to play. That's what happened in Arizona, but bad situation in Arizona. I'm willing to write that off. Bad situation in Carolina with poor quarterback play. I'm willing to write that off as well. But
he's also done some dumb stuff on his own to put himself in bad positions.
He has put himself. He hasn't helped himself out. But we have seen what he can do even on a dysfunctional Jets team. He can still be a 900 700 to 900 yard receiver. With a decent quarterback and Teddy Bridgewater in 2020, he was 1,000-yard receiver on 95 catches. So like he has wide receiver 2 potential there. He will not be wide receiver 2 here. Let's be very clear about that. But he's got an opportunity to really make some special things happen if he can stay tunnel vision. I know he's coming back home. He's gotten in trouble back home before. But if he can stay tunnel vision here, there's an opportunity for him to really do something special because defenses can't afford to invest a lot of coverage into Tyreek and Jalen and account for Robbie Anderson's speed. It's not possible.
And by the way, to his credit, he hasn't really been a knucklehead the last couple of years. He's been kind of, if I'm correct, I think he's kind of been on the straight and narrow and hasn't done any kind of stupid stuff. So maybe he's grown up already from his first few years. So
legally,
to his credit, okay, because he has the past. It's been the past. It hasn't been the present. It wasn't like he was doing something 3 months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. I think he's kind of kept his nose clean for the last couple of years.
I don't know him personally. I've known people who've covered him. I think he's a little misunderstood. I don't think he's just a Florida guy, and I think a lot of guys up in New York.
Hey!
They're not used to that. That's with all due respect. It's a different culture up here or up there than it is down here, and I don't think guys in the big city were willing to try to understand him. That is how it was explained to me, that the effort was not made from a lot of media folk up north to try to understand him because he comes from a different type of culture than what they are used to. It's not uncommon in pro sports. It's not uncommon in the NFL. So that is my understanding of him. Like, I don't think he's inherently a knucklehead. I don't think he's a bad dude, a bad guy. Got in trouble.
He's been immature. He's been a bad dude.
Got in trouble early in his career. Off the field, as far as I know, he's been fine. Got into an argument with the position coach mid-game and got kicked out of the game in Carolina. That was what led to him being traded. We don't know what that argument entailed, but either way, I think they see, kind of like not erratic behavior, but I think people see off-kilter behavior. They see him changing his name 2 times in like a year. They see him changing the spelling, going by Chosen. And they think, oh, well, this guy's a weirdo. No, he's not. He's just a guy. He's just a guy, man. He's a guy you don't understand. So I think, though, like if he is motivated to play and he brings his A game, he brings that, 2018-19 Jets, that 2020 Panthers, Robbie Anderson, Chosen Anderson, then I think he's got an opportunity to do something special here. I had already penciled in Braxton Berrios as wide receiver 3. I think at their peak, Robbie Anderson is a better receiver. He's a bigger threat. So if both guys are bringing their A game, Robbie Anderson is wide receiver 3. Berrios is still going to return punts. He will have that. Yeah. He will have that role. He is a roster lock right now. Right. He's a lock because of what he can do in the return game. But as far as wide receiver 3 goes,
I kind of thought Chosen is here because it's either a favor for somebody in the building, that the agent knows somebody in the personnel department and they're doing him a favor since he's a Miami guy, or 2, here's Chris Grier saying, or Marvin or Reggie saying, hey, man, listen, we're trying to trade Cedric. If we do trade Cedric, we really don't have somebody to play the outside that's kind of a taller receiver. So let's see if we sign Robbie just in case if he screws his head on right and he's playing well and we are able to move Cedric, he's a nice insurance policy just in case we're able to move Cedric. If we don't, then, hey, man, we tried it, whatever. We're not paying the kid much, so we're not risking anything. I almost think it's kind of an insurance policy or / favor, one of the two.
I must have forgotten the real gritty details of Cedric Wilson's contract, but 3 years, $22 million. Let me see. It's a $7 million dead cap hit if they get rid of him. It's kind of hard to it's gonna be kind of hard to find a trade partner. I think Omar alluded to it earlier today that he's got like $5 million guaranteed this year. $5 million of his 7 is guaranteed this year. It's going to be hard to find somebody who wants to take that contract for a guy who's kind of his claim to fame last year was a 50-yard kick return or a 50-yard punt return.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other Cedric Wilson plays?
No, there wasn't.
So it's hard. It's hard. He didn't have a good season last year. With all due respect, he didn't have a good season last year. He's been in the lab. He's been on the field with Tua and Tyreek and Jalen and Alec up in Broward, all off season, trying to kind of get that chemistry back. He's still in the running for wide receiver 3 too. He's still he's still a good receiver.
I don't blame him for last year, to be honest. I think he was just in a really difficult situation with everything that happened by McDaniel acquiring guys that he knew the system already and were really comfortable, and they had an edge over him. And then the top 2 guys get the ball so much that there just wasn't really a lot left over for everybody else.
It's not. And it's so we say wide receiver 3. It's not going to be that big of a role, but I think that role has opportunity for big gains, if that makes sense. You're not going to have a consistent.
This is why I asked you.
But
this is why I asked you and all the guys last week. I remember I asked you this question. I said, "Will wide receiver 3 be one guy, or will it be a situational thing?" And that's why I strongly feel that because of Hill and Waddle, it makes everybody else situational. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
I mean, when you got 2 guys who can combine for 3,000 freaking receiving yards in any given season, then he's going to be. It is what it is. Like you're gonna have to deal with the scraps. But
how do you take Waddle or Hill off the field on any freaking down, bro? You can't. It's irresponsible because they scare the shit out of defenses just with their presence alone, because they know that they have to worry about those 2 guys. So it opens it up for everybody else. So that's the reason why those 2 guys are always going to get it. And that's why I thought it was a good question to ask you guys, because I don't think we think about this that much. And that's why I look at the third receiver as a guy that's going to be a situational thing, depending on the down and the distance and where you're at on the field and the moment of the game. And then that's what he's going to feel like. You know what? Ezukanma's better for this moment. Berrios is better for this moment. Cedric Wilson will be better for this moment. I just think that's kind of the way it's going to go, unfortunately, for the third receiver.
Hey, we're in a short yard. It's 3rd and 3. Let's get Berrios in there. Run a quick out, run a speed out, run a quick slant, run something short area of the field, get him the ball fast, in case defenses overcommit to Hill and Tyreek. They've got a small package.
17-yard line. You want to do a fade pattern in the end zone.
Let's throw Robbie Anderson in there. Chosen Anderson. It's going to take a minute. Let's throw Chosen in there. Let's throw Set in there. Let's try to elevate. It could, like I said, I don't think it's not like wide receiver 3 is going to have like 600 or 700 receiving yards, but like they're going to be big opportunities. Like wide receiver 3 might have 2 catches, but one of them was a 30-yard catch and run, or one of them was a touchdown. One of them was a critical first down on a 3rd down conversion. So there is room for a big role, but it's not going to be big statistically. It's going to be big kind of situationally.
By the way, better name change. Meta World Peace. Chosen. Ocho Cinco. Didn't he change it again after that?
He changed it back. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he changed it back.
Didn't he have like another name besides Ocho Cinco? God, I want to say he changed it to oh no, it was Meta. Meta was something else before Meta World Peace, right?
Didn't Adam Jones change his name officially to Pac-Man?
No, but that was a nickname he had. Oh, I don't know. Did he legally change
it? That's what I'm saying. Like, did he legally?
Oh, I didn't know that. But he already had that nickname forever. So that guy, that was a nickname before it became a name. So I'm just going with names. Okay.
I didn't like
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, Chris. God, what was his last name? Chris Anderson, was it? No, I don't think so.
No, that was Birdman.
Yeah, it was Birdman. But anyway, the guard, what was his name out there? Somebody help me out. So, can you come up with another one that I haven't mentioned? What's your favorite name change so far?
I think Ocho Cinco was hilarious because it's not even like
a name.
It's not even technically correct. As I don't gotta tell y'all, like it's not how you say 85. It's just, that's what made it funnier. Like I thought that was classic. That was classic. To the point. Matter of fact, I had a friend in high school. He wore number 85, and anytime I would see him from across campus, I would just start hollering out "Ocho," and he would just like sit there and stop and like pose, no matter what he was doing, who he was talking to, where he was at. It did not matter. It was like a mix between, you know, Ocho Cinco and then Nacho Libre had just come out. And so like I always have that. I always have fond memories of Ocho Cinco because of that. Adrian McFalls, man, I gotta look him up. I don't know what I don't know what he's been up to.
Actually, Drago did come up with one because World Be Free. He did name himself. He is correct. He did name himself World Be Free. That's actually pretty good. World Be Free.
I did not. I don't know. I didn't like Meta World Peace because I thought it was kind of corny. I mean, but I will respect it because of what Ron Artest did for the Sacramento Kings. You know, took them from like the 12th seed to the 7th seed or something like that. As soon as he got traded for Peja, I respect him forever for that. Like he always has. I hope to see him in Sacramento for one of these games because he wasn't there long, but we appreciate him for sure. Even though he did go to the Lakers afterward.
Lloyd Bernard Free, born Lloyd Bernard Free back in December 9th of 1953, changed his name to World Be Free, or it was World Bernard Free. And so he was also known as the Prince of Midair, the Brownsville Bomber, and then, of course, also called often All World. But I got to go. World Be Free is pretty good. That one challenges Chad Ochocinco. That was good by Drago. I forgot about World Be Free.
And like I'm trying not to weigh in on names changed for religious purposes. You know, like Kareem. Kareem obviously.
I left that one out. But I left Kareem Abdul-Jabbar out and Muhammad Ali out. But Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. That one sounds like awesome.
Like, to be fair, nobody knows like the difference between these and the other. Like, people knew who Chad Johnson was before he changed his name to Shadow Six. You know Ron Artest before you know Meta World Peace. Like, you can't nobody. And I might be dating myself here, but I would say most of the world knows Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or knows him by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not by Lou Alcindor.
Lou Alcindor, right? Yeah.
Which I mean, that was him in college, right? So you would have had to have known
high school. I think he was already changed by college, right? Or was it like?
I thought it was in college.
No, I think he did do it at UCLA. Yes, you are correct. I think he did do it. At UCLA. You got to be a sports nerd to like really. To know that, even though it sounds obvious, it's obvious to us who love sports. Like it's not. He transcends sports to a point where people who don't really like basketball know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is. Like they know the name. If you told them Lou Alcindor, they'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. Who is he? Did he just get drafted? Like no one knows that. So and then Cassius Clay. You can forget that Muhammad Ali's original name, born name, was Cassius Clay. Because the world knows him as Muhammad Ali. So, and by the way, that's actually another really cool name, Muhammad Ali.
And so, but actually, technically, does that not make those the greatest name changes? If you don't even remember their birth name, if you only know them?
I do. I'm old enough to remember. But again, that is a religious thing. Wasn't as
it's not as just like whimsical as Ocho Cinco.
It's a good adjective.
You know, there's got to be categories. There's got to be levels to it, right?
Yeah, because that's like some serious shit. You know what I mean? Like that actually means something. There's a reason why they're changing their name to Muhammad Ali and Mahmoud Abdul Rauf and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's actual like real reasons for it. You know, when you're changing it to World Be Free or Ocho Cinco or Chosen or whatever, it's like, come on, bro. We can have fun with that one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but interesting. All right, your thoughts on Dalvin Cook and the Dolphin Nation? I don't know, wasting their time with this.
I wouldn't trade for him. I wouldn't trade for him. I'll say that.
Never trade for anybody, pretty much at running back. So
no, like I wouldn't. Don't trade for him. Like if he is available via trade, he is available on free agency because they will cut him if he's not traded.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Which, if I remember correctly, Alexander Mattison signed with the Bears, didn't he?
Yes.
So who the hell is their running back if they let Dalvin Cook go?
Oh, the Madison kid, right? Isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. I thought he signed with the Bears, but I could be wrong.
Did he sign? Oh, you know what? I forgot it. Did he sign with the Bears?
Chat, can you Google that real quick? I don't pay super close attention to NFC North, but I do know like they all were like passing running backs around. Like there was like a meme about it. Because Montgomery went from the Lions, or no, Montgomery went from the Bears to the Lions, I think. And so I thought Madison signed with the Bears. I thought he signed elsewhere, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then yeah, they should release Dalvin Cook yesterday.
No, they have Alexander Madison still.
Okay, he's still there?
So he's the guy.
And who did the Bears just sign?
Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second.
Either way, while you look that up.
They signed Donta Foreman, bro.
And
they have Khalil Herbert, which has been there for a couple years. And they have UM's own Travis Homer.
Not that any of those matter. Justin Fields is going to run for 900 yards next year. But I think once they release Dalvin Cook, I am open to bringing him on board for the right price. Like you're not paying him $15 a year. It depends on what he's looking for. If that's it, then
if he's looking for money, he's not coming here.
Exactly. Like if you want to come, if you're serious about joining an offense where you can really thrive, joining a team in the city where you grew up and finishing your career in your hometown, by all means, Dolphins extend the hand.
Yeah. Chris Greer is going to want low-hanging fruit, so he's not going to. He doesn't spend big on running backs, and he doesn't trade big picks for running backs. The kind of move he makes is the one you saw last year with Jeff Wilson, a 5th-round pick. Or draft somebody late.
I don't disagree, but I think Dalvin, if available.
No, you're right. But again, if Dalvin wants to sign, he's going to have to sign for less here compared to other places. But if he's trying to make up the salary that he's going to lose now in Minnesota, he's not going to make it up here in Miami. They're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it because until Chris Greer shows me that he's willing to actually spend on running backs, I'm not believing it. I just won't.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like we said last time I was on the show, he hasn't spent more than a 7th-round pick on a running back since 2016. This is not really his. Right. It's not a position I think he is willing to invest capital into. But I think we could have said the same thing for the 49ers organization, and they went out and got Christian McCaffrey and it changed their entire offense. So I think McCaffrey's a better player than Cook right now. He's a better player than Cook right now, and a little slightly different
situation. It has to do with their quarterback, too. They don't have a quarterback that can overcome having a decent running back. They have the quarterbacks that you need to be exceptional all over the place, so they don't have to carry the offense. They just have to facilitate. And I think that's why they made the sacrifice of making the McCaffrey move. Because they have a young quarterback at that point, or if they bring in Trey Lance or whatever, that's why they have all these weapons to make the life of the quarterback a lot easier. Now, when you have a much better quarterback like a Tua or a franchise guy, your quarterback, your running back doesn't have to be the man. You know what I mean? He can just be a facilitator overall.
And so I think it'd be a home run addition here. Yeah. He's still, he had, I think, a down year in terms of like EPA per carry, but he still got home run speed, man. The Dolphins saw it. He broke like a 60-yard run, and they had him boxed up for the most part until that late run to seal it this year. Right. He still had, I think, an 80-yard touchdown against the Colts, and that insane comeback, that like 33-point comeback or whatever should have gotten Saturday fired instantly. Like it's again, if he's available at the right price, don't turn your nose up at it. I think it's a great addition. I'm not paying $10 million a year for Dalvin Cook, though. That's the thing. I'm not paying 10 mil.
I can guarantee you that Chris Greer ain't paying $7. Okay.
It just again depends on give him an incentive laden deal to where you hit certain barometers and we can add some escalators into your contract to maybe sweeten the pot a bit. Sure. But until then, I think they are happy with what they've got. And this is kind of what I've noticed about this coaching staff for the past 2 years. If they think their personnel is a problem, you see it change drastically. They didn't like their edge rushers. They trade for Chubb. They didn't like the receivers. They trade for Tyreek. They needed a left tackle. They got Terron. Like, they will make a splash when they think something needs improvement, but they're not afraid to just coach them up. That's why we didn't see dramatic changes on the offensive line over the past couple of years. Added Connor Williams, added Teron Armstead, but it wasn't wide scale change like people thought. 4 new starters were popping up because they just said you guys weren't coached up right. Well, we got you. Yep. We got you from here. I think that's what we're seeing with the O-line. I think that's what they're seeing with what we're hearing about the running back room. Mike McDaniel told us, like, hey, most of it was 4.9 per carry. Wilson, 4.7 per carry. It's my fault. I didn't call enough runs. We abandoned the run too many times. The problem's not with the personnel. So I don't think they're shopping for a running back, but I think if what is his name? His agent. I just was looking him up too.
You mean Cook's agent?
Yeah, Cook's agent.
Hiller or
Zach
Hiller?
Yeah. Hiller. I think it's Zach Hiller. If Hiller hits up Chris Greer and said, hey, man, we'll come at a discount. He just wants to be a Dolphin. Then you start talking. But I just based on he's got an interview I think he did on I found it on Twitter, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be a Viking for very much longer.
Oh no, yeah. It looks like he's Well, the agent's already ripping the team that he was playing with a shoulder, and now that he's got both shoulders fixed and all that, and so he was ripping into him. Knight, thank you for the love on the super chat, but Prime does not count, my man, because Dion, that's a nickname, and somebody else is using the fridge. The nicknames are not names, guys. Okay, we're talking with the idea was people that literally changed their name, their legal name to this. So nicknames are not part of the conversation, but I appreciate it. All right, what do you got going on ESPN so Dolphin fans can check you out, my man?
Well, preparing for some some pre-draft questions. We're getting ready for it next weekend. But we get to speak with Chris Greer this week. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say which day. They usually don't like us saying that. But we speak with Chris Greer. We speak to the assistant general manager as well, Allen. And, going to have some of their thoughts on record, what they're looking for in the draft. 4 picks. I don't think that this team has – let me put it this way. I don't think that this team has needs that are going to be instantly plugged by the draft. So I'm expecting a BPA approach from Chris Greer once again. It would make the most sense, especially at 51 and 84, the late rounds. I am not wasting brain power on deciding who's going to be there, who's going to take, this guy and that guy. There are millions, maybe even billions of possible board combinations by the time they pick in the 6th round. I will reevaluate around round 5.
It's ridiculous.
I'll reevaluate round 5. I'm gonna start caring about that. Right now,
by the way, although I will say that if the tight end can make a quicker transition, that is the one spot that in that 3rd or 4th round you could, or the 2nd or 3rd round, you could end up with a starter that could end up really changing the team. The tackle, if they would get a tackle in the 2nd or 3rd, he's probably going to be a little bit more of a project / you hope for the best that he can make a transition right away. But normally guys like that are going to take a little bit to kind of transition. But the tight end,
that's the thing too with tight ends, rookie tight end. We saw it with Kyle Pitts, and really that's about it as far as rookie tight ends that made just an explosive impact right away. I think TJ Hawkins
helped Matt Ryan. It helped that he had Matt Ryan that first year, because look how he suffered setback this past year when he didn't have the veteran quarterback.
It is the hardest. You ask anybody, tight end is the hardest position to transition from college to the NFL. So I wouldn't rely, even a high tight end, I wouldn't rely on a high-end tight end or highly picked tight end beating out Durham Smythe. I think they like him a lot. I think they like Austin Jackson a lot. I think they like him a lot. I don't think they pick up his option because he hasn't proven he can stay healthy enough or sustain high-level play long enough to be locked into that.
And they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. But I think they still believe in Austin Jackson. I think obviously it's not a hot take to say this is his last chance because this is the last year of his rookie deal. But like this is his last audition year. You stay healthy, you put together some consistent tape, and you will be a Dolphin in 2024.
I'm with you there. All right, follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ and catch him twice a week here doing his thing with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins reports. As always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Got it. There you go. Marcel Louis Jacques. And again, for those of you, especially in the Broward County area, but of course, anywhere in South Florida, down to the Keys, if you're dealing with homeowner property damage, condo damage, you name it, folks, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, call Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. Welt and Rayom. They are in Hollywood, and they've been here for well over 20 years, taking down these insurance companies. I know because I saw it firsthand when we had a bunch of kids go through our wall, and Progressive Insurance was trying to just rip us off. You know, all these insurance companies are great at collecting your premium. Yeah, they want to collect that every month for sure. But when they've got to pay, oh, dude, it's like pulling teeth. And Welt and Rayom freaking crush Progressive. So those of you out there right now that are dealing with all kinds of water damage and you're dealing with these insurance companies, in fact, you shouldn't even call the insurance company. You call Welt and Rayom first. They send out their adjusters and they contact the insurance company. And when it's an attorney contacting the insurance company, oh, they get their attention, baby. And they get their attention really good right away. So if you want to get paid and you want to get what you deserve, you call Welt and Rayom. Save it on the cell phone. You may not need it today. You might need it next month. You might need it a year from now. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis Jacques. At Welt and Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welt and Rayom can help.
Right. Welt and Rayom can help. Damn straight. Be nice to get a starter at 51. I agree, King Short. I agree. Prince changed his name to a symbol. Yeah, that's right. He did. But he not an athlete. We talk about athletes. Falcons spent a top 5 pick on the tight end and don't target him in the offense. Great draft pick. I think they had a shitty quarterback last year, bro. That's what it is. They get a better quarterback, the tight end will be just fine. That's all. They got to get a better quarterback. I mean, they had Mariota last year, dude. Okay? Marcus Mariota. You're not going anywhere with that guy. I do not understand the damn Austin Jackson, Liam Meikenberg thing. Of course not. I get it. Jason says Pitt did have a 1,000-yard season his rookie year, but yeah, I agree. He's underutilized. Again, not his fault. It's just that when you have a bad quarterback, that's the way it goes. And they lost Matt Ryan. And I know Matt Ryan was old, but he's smart enough to get the tight end the ball. So he can do it. Arnaldo says, Big O Charlie Hustle, greatest nickname ever. Yeah, that could be definitely one of them. I'm not going to get into the nickname thing, okay? All right. It was a name thing that we were going to do. All right. Let's see. It's all good, Emilio. Don't worry, bro. You all good, baby. Trade up for Darnell Washington and Don Jones for them picks. I doubt you're going to see any of that, my brother. And Darren's hoping Tyndall can fit well with this Fangio system. Let's hope so. Used to clean Riverfront in 89. We weren't allowed to mention Pete's name. That's funny. Also, Matt Ryan choked on big games. Has nothing to do with getting the ball to Pitts, but I'm somehow you needed to get that off your chest. And I hope you feel better today, Stephen Harris. I hope you have a great day today because you got it off your chest that Matt Ryan choked. We know it, but you had to get it off your chest. Had nothing to do with the conversation, but you can get it off your chest. Oh, Bradster also likes Tucker Kraft at 51. By the way, Bucks are favored by 6 against Miami in Game 2. So it looks like Vegas is expecting Giannis to play. Reports are Giannis is going to give it a go. So we'll see what happens. I would expect him to play. They can't fall down 2-0 to Miami. That puts them in a monster hole. Tyler Hero out, obviously, 4 to 6 weeks, so he's done. Not surprised, as I told you before, Tyler is very injury-prone, and it's part of the reason why the Heat are a lower-ranked team in the playoffs, because people like Butler and Tyler, who are two of your best players, cannot play nearly entire seasons anymore. And so Jimmy has an excuse because age and wear and tear, but Tyler has no excuses, unfortunately. But they've got a 1-0 lead, baby. So let's hope they can surprise the hell out of the Bucks. Let's hope that Giannis, when he does come back on Wednesday, that he's not really himself. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope. Clippers defeat the Suns last night, 115-110. Russell Westbrook sucked yesterday. He was terrible. But the defensive play he made at the end of that game, that was awesome. That was good. I mean, listen, there's one thing you can never say bad about Russell Westbrook. Effort is always there, dude. He's always trying. I got to give him that credit there because he works his ass off. Now, he did not behave that well in that game or after that game. Why? Because he got in it with a fan, and here is Russell. If you have any kids, you may either want to put the kids away, send them to another room right now. Okay, I'm buying you some time right now. Okay, because Russell does say a bad word or two. So this is a room that's right behind the bench of the team. So here's a guy in a Suns jersey or hat or whatever, and then there is an official in the middle, in between Westbrook and the guy. And this is the exchange. I hope the kids are out of the room. So Westbrook getting in on it there after the game. It's, the funny part is you hear the guy after, well, you're going to talk about it, be about it. Westbrook would kick that idiot's ass so badly. Now Westbrook will get sued and And he knows it. That's why you probably see that he didn't, go after him. But I love these guys that this happened the other day with a baseball player, right? And we showed the video. I forgot which one it was, but somebody was snapping at the baseball player, and the guy grabbed the fan, and then all of a sudden the fan changed his tune. And I love these so-called tough fans, right? And in the end, he probably wants to get his ass kicked because then he'll make some money off of Westbrook. You know what I mean? But Westbrook also should not put himself in that position and be in that room. And I don't know if that's his kid that's right there in between. But boy, not good. Not good. But a hell of a play by Westbrook yesterday. That defensive play was awesome. You deflect the ball, and as you're flying out of bounds, you still are able to get the ball out to a teammate, and it's not an out of bounds play on your part. That was freaking amazing. Okay, he's so athletic. That's what that play was. That play was pure athleticism at its finest. Obviously, it's a player making a play, but the athleticism that you have to do that is just absolutely impressive, man. Really is. So Clippers defeat the Suns 115-110 in that game. Lakers defeat the Grizz 128-112. No Ja, no shot. Once he went out with that hand injury, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But if they have no Ja, they're not winning that series, man. Tonight we've got the Nets and the Sixers at 7:30, and we've got the Warriors and the Kings at 10 o'clock. Marlins 8-8. They lose to the D-backs yesterday. The only game they lost in the series. Sandy, bro. How about Sandy stinking out the place in 2 out of 3 outings so far? He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 9 Ks, a 5.84 ERA. It's just a bad start for him. He'll figure it out. I'm with the skipper. I think they were asking him about, he goes, hey, that's the last guy I'm worried about, which is true. It just sucks because those are the games you expect to win, the Sandy games. You out of the series, you don't expect to lose the Sandy game. That doesn't make sense. It's just weird, But they've got the Giants tonight at 6:40 at Lone Depot. Logan Webb, who's 0-3, and Jesus Luzardo, who's exceptional for the Marlins so far. He's 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA. So hopefully Luzardo brings his stuff. And who knows? The Marlins can get over 500, which, I don't think that's going to happen much this season. So it's nice to get them over 500. I like it. Let's hope so. Our offense needs all the help they can get. Big physical tight end is what the Dr. McDaniel will order up. Let's see if they get it, baby. Let's see if they get it. Albuquerque Alex in the house says, Big O, I need your local expertise. I've already fooled you that you think I have any expertise in anything. We got you. All right. Visiting Miami in July and looking for a good area near the beach to rent for an Airbnb. What would be better, Miami or Fort Lauderdale area? Great show, my brother. Albuquerque Alex, what are you doing when you're in town? Are you a family man? Are you single and trying to get laid? Okay, I don't know what you're doing. That's my problem. If you're a family man, I would stay in Fort Lauderdale. If you're single and you want to mingle, you stay down in South Beach. Now, remember, you're going to spend, a lot of money in South Beach. Okay? Fort Lauderdale Beach isn't cheap either. But in South Beach, just be prepared to spend a lot of money. But if you're young and vibrant and you're single and you want to go out and party, then you stay in South Beach, man. That's what you do. Or you want to stay in downtown Miami or Coconut Grove, and then you can drive over to South Beach, but then you're in that area where you can go to downtown Miami and hit any of the clubs or restaurants. You can go down to Coconut Grove. You can hit the whole Brickell area that's got all kinds of restaurants and bars and all kinds of stuff. You can go to Key Biscayne too. I don't know what you're trying to do when you're down here. So I'm not sure. Family, single, party, relaxing. It all depends, my man. Okay? There you go. What you never do, and I'm about to insult two groups of people in South Florida, they know what I'm saying is the truth. I'll tell you this, for all of you that want to move down here to Florida, because we got a lot of people moving to Florida. If you move to South Florida, as you've learned by now, do not ever move to East Fort Lauderdale or the East Broward, Fort Lauderdale area, or Brickell. Never move to those areas. Those are the worst areas to live in Florida because 2 inches of rain and everything is flooded. 2 feet of rain, well, it's really bad. Those are the worst areas to live in South Florida now because of storm surge and all that stuff. That's the one. I feel terrible for people in Brickell and in East Fort Lauderdale. Terrible, dude. East Fort Lauderdale is always getting flooded. And Brickell, same thing. You get just a little bit of rain and there are floods everywhere. It's a joke. If the rain that happened in Broward would have happened to Brickell, the amount of damage would have been, I mean, monument. Considering all those nice hotels down there, oh my God. The damage would have been monumental, bro. I mean, what's gone on in Fort Lauderdale is a tragedy, dude. Tragedy. So, Cigarro, Hollywood is a good option if you have a family too. Less expensive and plenty of places to stay. He's right. He's right. So if you're a family guy, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, I would, if you're single, South Beach. Yeah. Yeah. Hollywood Beach is terrific. So if he's from Albuquerque and married, he might be single when he comes to Miami. Big O just snuck away to lunch break. Give me your grades for the players yesterday for game 1. I'm going to give Bam like a C- because he didn't start off strong, but at least he finished strong. And he got a break with Giannis out. Tyler Hero, I'll give him a D because he's, not ever strong enough to handle an entire season. He breaks down too much. Got to give Love an A because he's been an F as an acquisition, but yesterday he was an A finally. Obviously, Butler is an A+ all the time, every single time, every day of the week. Every time he plays, he's exceptional. Strus did all right. Duncan, Spo, an A. So let's see what happens on Wednesday. See if they can make it 2-0, which would be freaking amazing. Not something I expected. Brett says, Big O, look for Kachuk to get under the skin of the Bruins, especially their goalie and defenseman. He's at his best when irritating the other team and jamming the net. Let's hope so. Yes, Fort Lauderdale Airport was flooded. It was closed for a day and a half or 2 days. I think it was. All the floods in there. It was terrible, man. It's terrible. Really. I mean, it's hard. You can't blame anyone because it's 2 feet of rain. And 2 feet of rain, wherever it lands, it's going to flood anything. But specifically, you don't want 2 feet of rain in Fort Lauderdale or Brickell. Those are 2 parts of South Florida that they're horrible to live in as it is because they get flooded for any little bit of precipitation. Just a tiny bit of rain, and you got floods. So that's where it makes it so much worse, those areas, man. I feel terrible for the people there. I personally would sell my home and not live there. Okay? If you forced me to live in Brickell or in Fort Lauderdale, East Fort Lauderdale, I would tell you I'm moving out of Florida. If those are the only places I'm forced to live, you can have a nice life. I'm moving on. I would never want to live in East Fort Lauderdale or Brickell. It is just, unfortunately, not built now for climate change. You know, sad, but that's the reality, unfortunately. And I'm sure a lot of people that are in those areas, and especially Fort Lauderdale, after going through all of this, I'm sure they're going to think of saying, you know what, this enough is enough. I got to get out of here. Big O, remind the visitors to be aware of their surroundings and don't get robbed. We're not that bad here as like, you know, California or something like that. Or Washington. It's not that bad. We got some crime, of course, but we're not like they got going on in California. That's bad. Tua has all the incentives in the world to protect himself next year, knowing he has $250 million coming to him if he can simply play 17 games. Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, the one thing, fins up, Tua's not motivated by money. That's not his thing. If he's trying to stay healthy, it's because he wants to win the game and help his teammates and play the game of football at a high level. Money's not really the driving factor for a young man like that. He's not one of those. He's not really wired that way. You can tell that that's not him. His thing's about pride, bro. Seriously. It's what it's all about. It's about pride. Let's see. Guys, my wife is buying me a first-class trip to Opa-locka. She said it's paradise with the best ocean views. Yeah, no, Opa-locka's got great ocean views. You'll be set, Pat in Asheville. She isn't coming with me for some reason, though. I'm pulling for Tannehill, going to be the Jets. I want my underdog brother back in the AFC East to get killed on every play. Stephen Harris says, not really. I heard women targeting single men to rob. That's everywhere, my brother. That's everywhere. That happens everywhere. But yeah, we don't have the crime issues. Like, we don't have like a bunch of kids attacking cars like they do in Chicago. Okay. We don't have businesses shutting down here in Florida like they do in California, left and right, that they're leaving because of all the shoplifting and all the crime that goes on. So, you know, you got to get your stuff straight, bro, and really understand what's going on. And I got to tell you something. Those guys that get robbed by those chicks, I don't feel sorry for those idiots at all. I don't, because those guys were up to no good as it is. So they're stupid. They're like Le'Veon Bell. He picks up two hoes. He bangs the two hoes. He wakes up in the morning. He tells them, oh, hey, ladies, you guys stay here while I go work out. And when he comes back, they robbed his apartment, blind. And then he's shocked. So you picked up two skanks that you don't know, you bang them, and then you're stupid enough to leave them in your room while you go work out, and you think they're not going to touch anything of yours and steal it. Why? Because they gave you some really good poontang last night? Is that why? So those kind of guys, I don't feel sorry for those kind of guys that get their Rolex stolen and all that. You're the fucking idiot, bro. Look at you and look at her. Why do you think she's with you? You think she's in love with you? These are the same idiots that go to a strip club and they actually think the stripper is laughing at his jokes and having a conversation with him because she likes him. That's the guy that gets robbed. It's the same moron. So I don't feel sorry for those kind of guys because they're not smart in the first place. Let's see. I think Tua will be like Tom Brady was with New England and take a little less in order to have a good team around him. I don't think I think he'll get his contract. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think he's motivated by the money. I don't think he does things just for money. I think he truly does or plays the game because he loves it. He loves to compete, wants to compete at a high level, and then he'll make his money anyway. I just think I just look at Tua as a character person more than anything else. South Beach during spring break is as bad as anywhere. Yeah, that's right. That is a week or two out of the year where you don't want to go to South Beach. You don't want to go to South Beach during spring break. And then what's that other week? They have 2 of the weeks during the year that you don't want to go to South Beach. Yeah, you're right. I mean, but that's what happens when you load the street up with a bunch of punks. You know, it's how we used to party like hell in Fort Lauderdale back in the 80s. And then they shut down Fort Lauderdale and kicked all the kids out. That's what happens. You can't allow a bunch of kids to, take over and nowadays kids have way more shit in their heads. Kids are way dumber now than ever. Okay? We didn't do those kind of things. We partied. Were there a couple of idiots? Of course, there always is. But in today's world, there's way too many morons. Look what happened in Dadeville, Alabama. Some guy just walks in and shoots up a birthday party. Like, that's ridiculous. These are the kind of things that just never happened before. So, yeah, look what happened in Chicago over the weekend. You never saw that when we were young. And it'll never happen. You see it nowadays all over the country where you get a whole bunch of kids and they're riding motorcycles and bikes and doing wheelies and terrorizing. And, that's the kind of shit that never happened nowadays. Back in the day, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Kids nowadays are incredibly stupid. Okay? All right? A lot of people are stupid. There's a reason why we need abortions to be legal. Why? Because there are way too many stupid people having kids. We need those people to have an option. They don't love the kid. They don't support the kid. And way too many kids are growing up without anything around them. And then they don't have the foundation they need in order to be successful in life. So since they have a terrible foundation, they become terrible citizens. Just like gun control needs to be controlled. Why? Because we have a lot of stupid people that shouldn't have a gun in their hands. But yet, we just want to, that's how this world is. And our kids nowadays, boy, they are loaded with stupidity. Kids are the dumbest mofos in the history of time. They might be more advanced. They might be smarter because education is way more advanced now than it was when I was young, right? So they have a chance to be smarter than us and all those things. But when it comes to common sense, that's out the door, brother. I mean, the kind of stupid shit that kids do nowadays, it's unheard of. I just saw over the weekend a 12-year-old go rob a gas station. He held the gun to the person behind the counter, right? And it looked like she was like, really? And then he shot the roof for the hell of it and then pointed it back at her. And she just loaded up the bag. Again, the kind of shit that would never happen when we were kids. Never. A 6-year-old would never think about taking a gun to school and shooting their teacher. In my day, a 6-year-old was thinking, can I sneak my Hot Wheels car in my bag so I can show my best friend? That's what kids at my age, at 6, were doing. Okay? They gave me this Hot Wheels car, and it's really precious to me. Now, can I take it to school so I can show my best friend this new Hot Wheels car? That's what we did. We didn't think of picking up the gun from our house to go shoot our teacher. Okay? People are too stupid nowadays. They don't they should not have rights to a lot of things. There's a lot of things that need to be restricted. They're too stupid to own guns, and a lot of guys are too stupid to fire their gun from downstairs because they get themselves and the rest of the world in trouble by producing. It's a stupid-ass world, man. We got a lot of stupid people in this world. That's a real problem right there. So, there you go. Memorial weekend is a nightmare. That's it. That's the other one. Memorial and spring break. Those 2 weekends or weeks or whatever they are. Big O, any thoughts on Coachella this past week? And I find it interesting, not crazy about the electric stuff. I don't know what the hell went on in Coachella, so I couldn't talk about it, my man. Intuit needs to call Tua to make Intuit commercials for TurboTax. Okay. Go to South Beach during spring break and you're guaranteed. Yep. Yeah. If you're solo, yeah. Stephen Harris says, also remember South Beach shut down a strip club for having underage women working there. Yeah. Wasn't that Club Madonna? The Big Woke Show. There we go. I always love the Republican and Democratic idiots that get in there. I love those idiots. There you go, bro. You sound like a Republican idiot. You're either one of the two. So it's all good, my brother. You're all morons. All of you Republicans, all of you Democrats, you're all freaking morons. Is that good? Are we good now? Insulting everybody? Are we good now? You want to choose a side? You go ahead and bury yourself. You'll be a moron. I'll go with Americans. I don't lean Democrats or Republicans. I have my own opinions. I don't care about sorry ass Democrats or Republicans. They're too freaking stupid to follow. But you go ahead and you go follow that woke stuff. You go ahead. You go ahead and be that stupid and keep following those people. What else do we have? Big O, we also need more accidents to eliminate the growing number of stupid people. This way, we get less dumb and more intelligent people remaining. We're just producing way more dumb people as it goes on, bro. I remember sneaking my Game Boy to school when I was a kid. Yep, there you go. That's the real crime back in those days. Sneaking a Game Boy or a Hot Wheels or something. That's it. That's what you want to do. Let's see. Country Dude would have their hunting rifles hanging in their trucks at school in my day. Yeah. Yep. Guns are not the problem, bro. It's not the problem. It's the people. That's all. You got to fix the laws. And when you fix the laws and you make laws that are like impossible to get around, watch gun violence go way down. But as long as you keep giving criminals breaks and breaks and breaks, this is what happens, bro. It's what happens. That's why in California you can steal up to $1,000 and they do nothing to you because you got garbage leadership. You know? Coming up, the new thing here in South Florida is the red light is a suggestion, as we know, and now you'll see one car take a red, and wait, there's now a second car taking the red light. Great job. Oh, his username checks out. Bruh. Should change it to duh. Oh, man. So DeAndre Hopkins says that he'll play for the Chiefs or the Bills, but he won't play for the Jets or the Pats. It's interesting because he's set for $19.45 million this year, $14.9 million next year in 24. So if they trade him, they take a $22.6 million cap charge. Now, if they wait till June, they can break it apart in 2 seasons. But to me, the real story of this is that he doesn't want to play for the Jets or the Pats. Now, remember, the Jets still may acquire, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I would imagine that that's still going to happen because the Jets, in the end, what are they going to do? Not give up the first-round pick? And the Packers know that they have to give up the first-round pick because if not, they have no season. They're just wasting time and wasting their players and all of that because they'll have no chance at competing without Rodgers, right? So the Jets are screwed. They have to end up doing this. But at the same time, the Jets have not changed their perception around the league that they've changed as an organization. People still don't trust them. People don't want to play for them. And here's the example. And then on the Pats side, okay, here's where the Belichick thing kind of hurts you too, because now you don't have Tom Brady anymore. Tom Brady was the ultimate eraser for all the mistakes that Belichick would make in the personnel department, or sometimes not giving Brady enough weapons, and yet Brady did enough to make it happen and all those kind of things. And so he had the ultimate eraser for 2 decades. And then he also had the ultimate recruiter for 2 decades, right? Because if you wanted to attract anybody to the Patriots with Tom Brady there, you're going to be able to attract them because, hell, man, I'm going to go play with Tom Brady. The guy's a winner, right? Now you don't have that winner anymore there. Mac Jones doesn't sell the same way. And then you're not getting the same kind of production out of your players anymore. You've missed the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. You're headed to miss the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. I don't have them making the playoffs. You have them making the playoffs because I don't. So all of a sudden now you're no longer a destination because you don't win and you don't have the ultimate eraser. The Jets are understandable that they're not believed yet because they don't have the quarterback. They haven't proven. They haven't gone over the top. And you have to deal with the New York media and all that mess. You want to go there if you have a good situation. But if you don't have a good situation and Hopkins is not sure that Rodgers is going there or not, he doesn't want to take the chance. So he turns down the Jets and he turns down the Pats. The Jets can fix their situation. They can get Aaron Rodgers, and in another year, if Aaron sticks around for another year, they might be sexy enough to obviously attract somebody. The Patriots, they're headed to the point of no return. Okay? Obviously, if you pay, anybody's coming to your team. So they can do that. But if the playing field is an even level playing field, okay, Patriots aren't going to win that race anymore. They're going to be left behind. So interesting story because he's going to get traded. One way or another, they're going to move him. And he did put out a tweet about not wanting a raise, but then he deleted that tweet and he's got an agent now and all that. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But I just found that kind of interesting that DeAndre Hopkins would come out and say, yeah, I'm not interested in going to the Pats or the Jets, but I'll go to the Bills or the Chiefs. Losing that juice, man. So Rook, Godzilla smoking the trees. Big O, imagine that Tom Brady a stabilizer. Imagine that Tom Brady a stabilizer. He was for them for many years. Interesting. You seem more like a Dem or a Republican making an assumption about my political beliefs on one comment. This is the big woke show. Well, you know, if you say woke, then you're like a DeSantis boy, because I'm far from woke, you know, but that's fine. So, but you seem, see, that's why you said the woke thing, because you seem like a Dem. So I'll do the same thing to you, schmucko. What can I tell you, brother? Bruh, what can I tell you? You want to assume? I'll do the same thing. If you do the woke thing, right, got to be Republican, right? Right? I mean, he did kind of attack me. Yeah. You got a problem with that? Tune out, bro. Ain't nobody holding a gun to your head. I'm not forcing you to listen. So, you don't like it? Too bad. You assumed I will crush your ass. That's the way it goes. My show, I do what I want. That's it. You're on my show. I'm not on your show, bruh. Okay? You're in my space. I'm not in yours. Got that? Let's get that shit straight. You're in my neighborhood. I'm not in yours. Love these guys. They think they can, you don't run shit here, bro. I run the shit here. I decide what goes, not you. I've earned that right. By the way, New Jersey, you now have a Bruce Springsteen Day. And which, by the way, makes all the sense in the world because the boss deserves his own day. So for those of you that live in Jersey, Bruce Springsteen's birthday, which is September 23rd, is now officially Bruce Springsteen Day. And you know what I like about the governor for Jersey? He knows his place. He says Bruce Springsteen is one of the most recognizable and iconic and influential musicians and New Jerseyans of all time, said Mr. Murphy. Hey, what's going on here? Okay, damn thing is freezing up on me. Here we go. Okay, Phil Murphy, by the way, is the governor for New Jersey. And he says it's important that we recognize Bruce for all he's done and will continue to do, from giving us the gift of his music to lending his time to the causes close to his heart, including making the Archives and Center for the American Music a repository that will inspire tomorrow's songwriters and singers. We thank him for showing the world what it means to live in our New Jersey values. I am both honored and proud to declare his birthday Bruce Springsteen Day in Jersey. New Jersey values are like blue collar, hard work, that kind of stuff, right? Because I'm not sure. I'm just kind of throwing it out there, right? Truth be told, I know my place in the hierarchy of New Jersey. This is what I like. After all, I may be the 56th individual to be called governor, but there will only be just one boss. Murphy joked. So, to you, Bruce, thank you for all you've done and will continue to do, from giving us the gift of your music to lending your time to the causes close to your heart, including making the Archives and Center for Music a repository that will inspire tomorrow's songwriters and singers. So September 23rd is officially Bruce Springsteen Day. That's pretty damn cool and well-deserved. Those of you that have followed the show long enough, you know I got nothing but love and respect in a big-time way for Bruce Springsteen. Today in music history, by the way, 1988 on this date, Paul McCartney's wife, a one-time member of Wings, Linda McCartney, died at the age of 56 after a 3-year battle with breast cancer. Can we eliminate that C word? Can't we find the cure for cancer? God, it's affected every one of us, right? Family, friend. It's so sad, man. Cancer claims so many of us. In 2008, on this date, E Street Band keyboardist Danny Federici died from cancer at the age of 58. Federici worked with Bruce Springsteen for over 4 decades, starting an early Springsteen band, Steel Mill and Child. In 71, on this date, Three Dog Night started a 6-week run at number 1 on the singles charts with Joy to the World. All the boys and girls. All the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. In 95, following Bill Berry's operation for a brain aneurysm that caused him to collapse on stage during a show, REM announced that they would resume their worldwide Monster tour. Even though Berry recovered and rejoined the band, he left in 97 for good. Let me tell you something. This is one of those bands that I miss in a big time. Like, you can miss other bands that people died and the band broke up and all that kind of stuff. But these guys are still pretty much intact. They're all pretty much around. Maybe Barry would not be the guy that would come back. But overall, like, they still had, like, I thought they still had some, some music left in them. I thought Michael and company could create more. I saw REM like 3 times, I believe, in concert. Just a phenomenal band, phenomenal concert. Their lyrics are amazing. Their music is just as distinctive as it gets. They have an identity. It's just there's only one REM. And I got to tell you, that is one of those bands that I truly miss. It's almost like I wish I could have seen them 4, 5, 6 more times. Sometimes people tell me, well, why do you want to see a band more than once? Well, every show is not the same. And then as years go on and you add different albums and then you have different shows and things like that, REM is one of those bands I miss, man. In 2006, on this date, a VH1 poll, a line from U2's hit One was voted by viewers as the favorite song lyric. The lyric is "One life with each other, sisters, brothers." In 91, on this date, Nirvana performed at Seattle's OK Hotel. They played a new song live for the first time ever. It was called Smells Like Teen Spirit. So those are some of the things that happened today in music history. I'm a big Metallica fan. Those of you that follow this show, I'm a big Metallica fan. I travel to see bands all the time. One of the bands that I've gone to travel and see many times is Metallica, actually, and I'm going in August to Montreal to go see Metallica. So Lars Ulrich came out yesterday or over the weekend, I think it was, in an interview, and he talked about one band that they aspire to be like. Okay, Metallica is at a point that they don't aspire to be anything. They are the shit. You know what I mean? They are the Stones. They are, Iron Maiden. They are AC/DC. They are whatever. Any of these great artists or bands that are made. They don't have to, they are who they are. The Who, Led Zeppelin, whatever. Metallica is that, okay? They don't have to look up to anybody. But I found it really cool that the Metallica drummer gave the props to U2. He says, U2, I think we're sitting here with a couple of guys from the Chili Peppers and a couple guys from Muse and a couple guys from other bands that are still getting on. We would all agree on one thing, which is that U2 is the ideal of being a band that we all look up to because of the way they function, because they're more or less grew up on the same street, went to the same schools, and they've known each other and had the same DNA running through their bodies. He went on to relate how that dynamic even pointed out in his own band. It's also not true of a lot of bands, including the one you're sitting here with talking to a member of. I grew up in a very liberal, artsy upbringing in Copenhagen, Denmark. James Hetfield grew up in a pretty much opposite of any of those worlds here in Southern California in Fullerton. Do you know what I mean? Kirk Hammett grew up in the Mission District, also a very liberal sort of post-hippie upbringing. The band famously worked through some of their relationship dynamics in some kind of a monster documentary film and have enjoyed a much better dynamic in the years since. So I'm just saying U2 is sort of like the pinnacle of what we all aspire because of the fact that they can still function to the way that they do. But you brought up the Eagles. I mean, there are more versions of the Eagles than everybody else, the Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Youngs of the world that just can't do this. And it's easier for all of them to go do solo artist stuff. So pretty cool. And it is true that the dynamic of U2, and not because that's my favorite band, but it's just so special to be able to see a band like U2 still together after all these years and still have the kind of friendship that they have and the bond of brotherhood, and that the egos and everything else never really took over and never really buried, the band overall. And it's so awesome in that way. And let me tell you something, as a fan, nothing hurts more than watching a band break up that you love. You know what I mean? And that they never, like the Beatles, when they broke up, and Led Zeppelin, John Bonham dies, and then they just never feel like continuing forward. And that kind of kills you. You know what I mean? And so when they break up or there's a death and it just kind of ends it, Keith Moon died for The Who. And they kept plugging along. And Keith Moon's one of the greatest drummers of all time, just like John Bonham was. But The Who kept going. And thank the Lord, because I didn't get to see the Keith Moon Who. So at least I got to see The Who several times, unfortunately without Keith Moon. But at least I was graced to be able to watch, Daltrey and Townsend and Entwistle do their thing. And they even kept going after Entwistle died. So whether they break up, and those are the worst, when they're mad at each other, like the Smiths, that they could easily get back together with no problem and fill stadiums all over the world. But Morrissey and Johnny Marr can't stand each other. Can you imagine for people all over the world that the Smiths is their favorite band? And what if they ended up liking the Smiths starting in the middle of the 80s, when it was the end of the Smiths? And now they want to see us, and they never get to see it. And they get to see Johnny Marr by himself, and then they get to see, Morrissey by himself, like I have. I never got to see the Smiths together. That kind of stuff. So it's a bitch, man, when bands don't stay together, or it's heartbreaking for fans at times too. Like I was telling you with REM, they just retired. And it's devastating, because it's like, man, you're REM. You're awesome. You still can make great music. You guys can still tour and fill stadiums and arenas all over the place. And you don't want to do it anymore. And, kind of hurts. Kind of hurts. Graduated in 90, REM, The Cure, Depeche Mode, The Smiths, 10,000 Maniacs, Tori Amos, etc. were all listened to on college radio. Yep. Big O, did you see The Cure, or is that coming up? It's coming up. It's coming up. I'm going to go see him twice in Atlanta, and I'm going to see him here in Miami. Some great alternative music from 86 to 94 AM. Hey, amen to that. Big O, you should see the funny video of them on Jimmy Kimmel doing a Masters of Puppets marionette puppet show. Oh, you know what? I saw a flash of it. I have to go back to see it. But I did see something of it, and I forgot about it. I'm glad you reminded me. My favorite Metallica album is Ride the Lightning, which I got so lucky just recently. A couple months ago, they were here at the Hard Rock Live, and they did only the first two albums, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, because that was with the first record company that they were with. So they were honoring the owners with that concert, and I got to see most of the songs from Ride the Lightning live. That was so freaking awesome. So Ride the Lightning is my favorite album. They're doing a live concert recording of Dark Side of the Moon on Pink Floyd's YouTube channel tonight for the 50th anniversary. Okay, pretty cool. Masters of Puppets rock. Yes, sir. Biggest reason U2 stayed together all these years, they split all royalties 5 ways, band and manager. Yeah. It's all even, and there are they're friends, man. They're brothers. They're really all one. You know what I'm saying? They really love each other. They really support each other. They really care about each other. It's, even though Bono and Edge are usually front and center, and Larry and Larry Mullen Jr. and now I'm forgetting. Now I'm blanking on the other member, but the other two guys, they're cool being kind of under the radar. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. But they just are they're like family. They're like a true family. Johnny Marr is fine without Morrissey. Well, Morrissey is also fine without everybody else. Mark, let's be honest now. Morrissey has created a catalog of solo material that is impeccable. Okay? So his Smith stuff is just golden, but his solo stuff is awesome. Okay? I could gladly go to a Morrissey concert and he can do all Morrissey and I'll walk away extremely happy. Okay? I know he mixes the Smiths in there and does a lot of songs with the Smiths, but he could do an all Smiths concert and I'll be happy, and I can see an all Morrissey concert and I'll be ecstatic with it. I have all of his albums. Morrissey has a Hall of Fame resume in my eyes, solo, not just with the Smiths. That's how good I think he's done. Johnny's done a great job. His solo stuff is all right. I have all his albums with the Messengers and all that stuff. It's pretty good. And he's done really well playing with other bands. That he's done an exceptional job. Whether it's electronic, whether it's he's been all over the place and done a great job. And he has survived and thrived on his own. But let's not kid ourselves. The only guy that's filling arenas is Morrissey. Okay, Johnny Marr does not fill arenas. Johnny Marr goes to small clubs. That's what he can do. He cannot go to big arenas, whereas Morrissey still is doing arenas. You know, that's because Morrissey has one hell of a solo catalog. So got to give him major, major props, man. And Andy, is it Andy? I think I want to say his current guitarist. That guy's really good. Like really, really good. I think it's Andy, I want to say. I'm trying to remember. White, I think I want to say, right? Is it White? His last name, I want to say. But yeah. He's really good, man. Really good. Big O, I got to see the Who once with Keith Moon. Oh, man. I am jealous, Brett. Jealous. I got Atlanta tickets for The Cure. Psyched. Well, let's meet, Mark. I'll be in Atlanta for both concerts. So if you live in Atlanta, let's hang. Adam Clayton. Thank you, Gordon. I love Metallica's cover of Die, Die, My Darling and Sweet Caress. Let's see. Metallica's first 3 albums, so good. R.I.P. Cliff Burton. Yep. I caught the Who and Pink Floyd at Carter Finlay Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. Different shows, of course. Awesome sauce. Definitely. Are you still planning on doing a music channel? Yes. I got so much shit going on, man. I got to pick up on the crypto channel too. I got to start doing a little bit more there. Big O, I saw Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit on YouTube's podcast last week, and he aged so much. He looks like a Civil War reenactment actor. Oh, man. It was a different style of music with or without him. Oh, okay. That's something else there. Bill Hader, season 4 started last night. What an awesome show. Everybody says that show is awesome. I have not seen it yet. But everybody loves that show that talks about it. That is the tooth. All right, we are out of here. By the way, if you missed it, it's on the platform. You can also catch it. It's there. Sean just posted it this morning. I talk a little bit about the Dolphins and Dalvin Cook. You can check that out also. You're going to start seeing a couple different things happening with the show. You'll start seeing some extra segments that will not be part of the live show. So you may want to go to it at times, like the Dalvin Cook, and there'll be other things coming. So make sure you're looking for that. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll know whenever Sean is on doing a wrestling show, when I'm on doing a crypto show, when I'm on with Sean here doing the daily show, all this kind of stuff. So you get the notification bell when we post a video. If there's breaking news, the notification bell will give you the warning on your phone, and you'll know we're on. We are out of here. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.